Welcome back to Serie Spotlight.
Bro, you're gonna make me laugh.
We are Jake and Matt.
When he put the body for the ball.
Fucking hell! Go look at Inter!
Very lucky. Very lucky.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Serie Spotlight. This is episode 120 and we're your hosts Matt
And Jake.
here to talk about Matchday 30, the big 3-0, brother.
A few nice goals this match day. Only 8 games to go. For many teams, these will be 8 finals. They'll be fighting for survival, for European qualification. Unfortunately, first place is pretty much already a guaranteed.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of drama, however, on that, bro, as the way things stand, if Milan and Inter win their next 2 games, Inter could win the league against Milan if they beat them.
In fact, we have some of our Milan friends who are doing a very strategic thing of pre-booking tickets for the match against Inter and selling it to Inter fans at inflated prices.
That's genius. Right? that's called being a businessman.
Exactly, and hey, that's what Milan are at the end of the day. You said many a great goal, brother, but what was our goal of the week?
Riccardo Orsolini!
What a fucking goal, man. Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Spalletti?
Yeah. Yes.
Can you please play a 3-4-3 in the Euros?
Oh, that's not a bad shout at all. Huh?
Orsolini
is
one
knocking,
side,
definitely.
Chiesa on the other, or whoever is available, because Chiesa will probably.
I mean,
get
Berardi at the moment can't walk.
He's walking.
He's limping.
He's limping.
He's
with-
limping gracefully.
Yeah.
Orsolini is definitely in the form of his life right now.
And he has been for 2 seasons now. Last year was kind of like his breakthrough.
It's true. He managed to have a fully consistent season for the first time ever, I believe.
Yeah.
The touch, man, for the goal, more than the finish. The finish was immaculate, but that touch, and he just teed it up perfectly for himself, man, with one move.
Literally on the corner of the box. That point, the corner of the box, just angles himself perfectly. You don't see them going from there.
No.
Salamaker saw that, and he was like, okay, I'll try do you one better. Same angle, different side, knuckleball into the top corner, keeper absolutely helpless. But for me, it was that touch, man, of Orsolini, the way he set himself up
absolutely.
gracefully.
That's what separates the goals, I believe.
Yeah.
Speaking of, by the way, strange trajectories and knuckleballs, Salamaker's shot did, by the way, just change direction.
Yeah.
After like halfway after leaving his foot. Sulaimanas took a weird dip as well.
It did. I thought
it
we
looked
were
like a
seeing it
deflection.
together. I was like, that took a deflection. You're like, no, bro, that's a knuckleball.
Yeah. What a finish by the
Sule fucking mana.
Honorable mention, Bonazzoli as well for, I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Karate kick. Not quite.
That is, if any of you are into kickboxing, MMA, whatever, a crescent kick.
A crescent kick.
Crescent kick.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, and if they're not, bro, what are they meant to be imagining?
Fucking look it up.
It was a crazy goal, Bonazzoli.
Leao's goal, we debated a bit about it. Brilliant goal by Leao, obviously. That's what Leao does, man. That's what Leao fucking excels at. And good to see him making these runs down the middle more and being effective down the middle. Very
it's a
good
new
to
pressing system. We'll be getting into it very soon.
Terracciano, what the hell was the way he committed over there? Why did bro go forward?
Yeah.
I think he anticipated maybe Leao trying to put it through his legs or put it down the middle.
He was more focused on being brave than anything else. You know, when you have someone charging at you with that speed, you just need to throw yourself at him. I didn't really fully commit to sliding into him. Probably out of fear as well that he'll round him and knock him down and give away a penalty, get a yellow card, that whole frustrating thing. But I feel like he committed a little bit lazily there, Terracciano, But he had a splendid game other than that.
Yes, he was brilliant, and you can't typically fault Terracciano. He's not really a keeper that makes mistakes. But shout out to Leao, because bro is fucking back, Bro is back, and he's looking decent, man.
Yes. Shout out to Leao and shout out to our Patreons. That is right, we are on Patreon. Alan, Andrew, Andy, Anthony, Tim, Campbell, Sluge McNoodle, Lena, David, Kyle, Luca, Matthias, Mint, Michael, Tonna, and Ed. These are the guys who are essentially paying for our... we've made the transition to YouTube thanks to these guys, because with their monthly funds, they're funding every subscription that we have for the YouTube.
Yeah, and guys, just a disclaimer, having a podcast is not fucking cheap at all.
Yeah.
If you want the most basic of setups and to be on video and have decent sound, you're gonna have to invest, and obviously there aren't many opportunities, especially for a niche podcast like ours, for sponsorships, so on and so forth. Hopefully in the future that'll be sorted out. But every little helps, and what you guys are seeing right now is great growth due to a great community that together we have amalgamated.
The boys, dude. The boys.
And the gyal, man. And the gyal. Lena. We always say the boys, but there's obviously Lena as well. Shout out to all you beautiful fucks. If any of you guys want to become spotheads as well, which is what we call our patrons,
our spotted,
€3.99 a month. That is the cheapest we could possibly make it on Patreon. So if you guys want to continue to see us grow and you want to be part of the community, then do subscribe. The link is in our bio on Instagram.
It does come with its perks. You'll be added to our WhatsApp chat, which is always popping when the games are on. Lots of discussion over there. Even if you miss a game,
every day.
Ask for a recap, and they'll send you one. Someone in the group will always send you a recap. There's always someone watching every single game,
literally,
throughout the day.
Sometimes we've got some of the guys that are at a stadium at a very particular game, and they're documenting it for you. You just get these open-ended questions as well, like food for thought. Should Juve sack Allegri right now or wait till the end of the season, for example? There's always just great conversation going on. Another way to support us, guys, is by showing us some love on YouTube. We've just, like we said, started video now, and we were a bit late on the YouTube train, so your support would be really, really appreciated.
Otherwise, we'll still be releasing the audio episodes ASAP. They'll be out on Wednesday evening, usually. YouTube will take a little bit longer to upload. To probably be out Thursdays or Fridays. It depends on how busy we are with editing.
Typically Thursdays.
Yeah, typically, hopefully. But it does depend on how busy we are and how late we finish.
Well, before the next match day. That's the most important. Like Jake said, Spotify, Apple, Google. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X. You can find us anywhere and speak to us. We'll reply, we'll feature you, and we can have a lot of fun together. We also just released an episode with Sandmax24.
Not 26.
Not 26.
Matthew got his name wrong at the end of the episode.
Of course I did. That was, to be honest, looking back at it, I was quite tipsy. We were drinking beers. So that's why I got
the editing was a nightmare, the amount of times we stopped recording.
To take a piss. We kept stopping to take a piss. But that's a bit of a different episode. We discussed the banter era, particular players from Milan's banter era. We discussed the likes of Adel Tarabt, Kevin Constant, and all these guys. So if you want a not so nice throwback for Milan fans, check it out. It was good chat, and he's such a unique character as well. He's brilliant.
He's amazing, Sandmax. He's looking to get into comedy. He's a local celebrity over here for people who are listening abroad.
Quite big.
Yeah, he's very big here. I've totally forgot what I was going to say. What was my point?
I don't know, but you looked really certain of what you were going to say.
Yes, I did, but it slipped my mind entirely.
Fuck it. How about the rundown? And you try to remember that.
Sure, go for it.
The meantime.
Yes, I remember. Alan said basically that the Sandmax episode was kind of like something that he was missing at the time of the banter era. Because this was a time when people weren't really on social media as much, when Twitter wasn't really as big. So, most people do follow the Premier League. Serie was actually a little bit smaller back then. Juve were just dominating year after year. It wasn't as interesting. So he described it as an episode that he wished he had back then.
Amazing. So
shout out Alan.
Shout out Alan. What a salesman.
He's a
great pitch, Alan. Let's get into the rundown. But we're going to start things off with Inter 2, Empoli 0. Not one of Inter's greatest performances, but 3 points against Empoli. What more could Inter fans ask for? Fiorentina 1, Milan 2. brilliant game of football over here, very competitive between the two sides, and that is where Leao had that brilliant goal as well. Fiorentina kind of shocked Milan with that equalizer, but thankfully Milan managed to get that second goal. Lazio 1, Juve 0 in Tudor's debut. That is Juve, another loss for Juve. They only have one victory in their last 9 Serie A games, which is greatly Concerning. Napoli 0, Atalanta 3. Now that is greatly concerning for Napoli, but what a performance by Atalanta. The battle for top 4 is another juicy battle, which we have to discuss and look at. Bologna only 2 points behind Juve. Atalanta are in the mix as well. It's really heating up. Speaking of Bologna, they beat Salernitana 3-0. Zirkzee just got back from injury, but he wasn't needed because when the centre forward isn't there, I had a rhyme for this. Well, I'll get to that later because I have it written down somewhere. But when Zirkzee wasn't there, the wingers came out and they got the job done. 3-0 there for Bologna against Salernitana, who are destined for relegation at this point. Lecce 0, Roma 0. You'd think that Roma had most of the attempts, most of the possession, and Lecce just parked the bus. No. Lecce,
au contraire, mon frère.
What a performance by Lecce, and this was the first time we really saw Roma in trouble and struggling against their opposition, obviously apart from the game against Inter. Torino 1, Monza 0. A singular Sanabria penalty got Juric the victory over there. Cagliari 1, Hellas 1. Cagliari managed to get the equalizer over there after a brilliant goal by Bonazzoli. We're actually off to watch Cagliari against Atalanta. Come on, Cagliari. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be absolutely fucking shit-faced for 2 full days in Sardinia.
And hopefully we'll come back with loads of content as well.
Yeah.
Lots of funny videos.
Fingers fucking crossed, man. Genoa 1, Frosinone 1. Frosinone really brought it to Genoa over here. They looked absolutely solid. But the inevitable Albert Gudmundsson, always he just gets them that goal. Albert Gudmundsson every week just gets
and he
them
had
that
missed
goal.
His most recent penalty. Granted, he scored the rebound. But nice to see that his international form proved to be superior than his previous penalty.
Absolutely. And Sassuolo 1, Udinese 1. We're not used to calling that a relegation dogfight, but it absolutely is a relegation dogfight.
Absolutely. Before we get into these games, Coppa Italia action.
Yes.
Juventus took on Lazio yesterday and beat them 2-0.
Which is hilarious considering that Lazio had just beaten Juve 1-0.
Tudor described this performance as one that you can't really compete with, saying that Juve could have basically beaten Real Madrid on that day. Fair enough. I mean, of course you're going to say that, right? Tudor. Yeah. Also, happening in about 30 minutes, there's Fiorentina-Atalanta. That's the first leg.
This is the first leg of the semi-finals. Who do you have your money on for Coppa?
To win it.
Yeah, to win the whole thing.
So Atalanta have made the final a few times recently.
Never
Inter are
won.
out. So I'd put my money on Atalanta, man.
I think I'd say Juve.
Juve.
Not willing to. I'd want Atalanta, because but I think Juve could be street smart enough to get that, which is hilarious considering their league form that I'm saying that. But in Coppa, they look completely different. Man.
Obviously, because these fucking players aren't playing for Allegri, they're playing for themselves, man.
Exactly.
That's one of the points that I'm gonna really drill home today. The fact that Juve are like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If you tell them, you can win the league if you win, they play amazingly. They pull goals out of their asses in the 95th minute. If you tell them there's nothing to play for anymore, we're playing for top 4, then suddenly they stop fucking showing up, dude. It's been a bit of a disaster lately. These last 9 games for Juve, I think they have 1 victory over Frosinone, and it was a 3-2 messy.
1 victory in 9, bro. And today, how funny, Luca Argento, one of our patrons, he sent us a picture of him holding a beer. He's like, cheers to another Juve victory. Like, what? Another Juve victory. Another? That's 2 in 10 now. in all competitions. 1 more, right? And it literally is just 1 more. Yeah. Shall we get into it?
Yes.
Let's start a bit quickly with Inter 2, Empoli 0. Not to take anything away from the season's champions, pretty much. But we do have 3 very juicy encounters, which we need to cover. first things first, Acerbi back due to a lack of evidence. So he's back on the pitch. I mean, at the end of the day, how do I phrase this? It is just a great shame that there is a lack of evidence. It is a great shame that we do not have the technology to see.
Yes, I absolutely agree. It is definitely a shame. It's a shame how this whole thing has been brushed over as well.
And how it's become a battle between the two teams, going back and forth on social media, and Marotta saying this and him saying that.
Strange remarks, people seemingly defending Acerbi, people not reading the room.
Who was that said he wants to give Acerbi a big hug after there was the lack of evidence? The lack of evidence does not mean that Acerbi is not guilty.
Yes, exactly.
He wants to give him a hug, like the guy was falsely accused of something.
The thing is that at the end of the day, you're always innocent until proven guilty. And that's the way it should be. You should never be guilty until proven innocent. Right?
Yeah.
That's just my belief. I mean, I think the belief of most sane people, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It really is a shame because I personally feel that Juan Jesus was convincing to me. I felt for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great opportunity it was for these teams to come together and make a great point about how, look, this is unacceptable. Even Inter should have said this. It is unacceptable that we don't have the evidence. Napoli and Inter, as two of the biggest clubs in Serie A, this season's champions and last season's champions, come together saying, we need more evidence. We can't have this in the league. But alas, it was a petty fight between the two teams. And yeah, just an absolute shame. Inter were coming off that 1-1 draw to Napoli. Empoli were coming off a 1-0 home loss to Bologna. And the previous encounter was an away victory for Inter with the score of 1-0. Sommer was rested because he had twisted his ankle on international duty. And Devray and Quadrado were also out. Empoli missed Ebouehi, Berisha, Ismaili and the suspended Male. When it comes to the formations, it was a 3-5-2 for Inter with Audero in goal and a backline of Bastoni, Acerbi and Pavard. Di Marco on the left, Darmian on the right, and the midfield trio of Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu and Barella, Thuram and Lautaro up front. 3-4-2-1 for Empoli, Caprile in goal. It was Berezinski, Valukovic and Luperto at the back, Giassi on the right, Pezzella on the left, Bastoni and Mar in double pivot, Zurkowski and Cambiaghi flanking Niang. Now, just to quickly go through the play-by-play, Di Marco opened the scoring in the 5th with a half volley following a Bastoni cross. This was interesting because I'm like, what the fuck is Di Marco doing in that position? You typically see him down the wing, but with Bastoni having that liberty with the three at the back to go forward, if he's going forward, you're gonna fucking want Di Marco to be on the end of that on his favourite left foot.
Yes, it was
great drill, man.
Quite unorthodox, and this is how Inter basically are storming the league, you know. You just don't know where their players are going to go by being so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You know, the centre-backs advance, the midfielders drop, the full-backs run centrally, the strikers drift out wide. It's just a nightmare to keep up with. And this was another lovely goal. And Bastoni really...
He had a fantastic game. Moments after that, he charged forward, beat a couple of players. Now, I often say he turns into Theo Hernandez at times. That's literally what he did. Stormed forward incredibly only to hit the post. Caprile got a good touch to that, so it was a good save by Caprile. Pavard almost got his first goal for Inter, but Berezinski, brilliant last-ditch touch to deny him... Every time I hear Berezinski, when I say Berezinski, what's the first thing that comes to my mind?
Back heel! Oh my goodness!
Quagliarella with a moment of magic!
If you haven't seen that Quagliarella goal, you should definitely look it up. Quagliarella versus Napoli. Berezinski whipped in a ball and Quagliarella just back heels it incredibly, purely instinctively. It was a magnificent goal. And then you just see his celebration.
You know what that game was, though, eh? That game was when it came out. It was against Napoli. His former club, Napoli, here he is. For those of you watching on YouTube, Quagliarella, the fucking legend. The legend, lest we forget. But basically that was the match in which obviously Napoli fans hated him because he went to Juve. They didn't know that he was being stalked and that there was a terrible, terrible situation. In that game, it had come out, the police report and everything, saying this is exactly what happened to Quagliarella. Quagliarella walked out on the pitch to an entire Napoli stadium applauding him and saying, fucking forgive us, bro, we love you, we're so sorry for what we put you through. And then he scored that goal, and it's just I get chills thinking about it. Him with his chest puffed up. I firmly believe that isn't ego. I firmly believe that is a massive weight lifted off of bro's shoulders. Jake and I were in Amsterdam doing truffles, and we were
you always mentioned it.
Because we were just watching Quagliarella goals.
It was great, to be honest. Funny thing about Bereszynski, by the way, assists that goal against Napoli, joins them for 6 months on loan, wins the league, ends up at Empoli. So it's like the one time this guy had a taste of a top-level football team, he won the league.
What a guy. Bereszynski. Sanchez tapped in the 80th minute after a low cross by Dumfries and a great passage of play by Inter.
That was an interesting one by Sanchez. He shot the ball with his right onto his left and into the back of the net.
And I'm sure Thuram didn't let it run for him. Thuram tried to make contact and missed it. We did see human error for Inter in this game. Particularly, Sanchez had just come on for Lautaro. I'm not going to say Lautaro had a stinker because he's always effective in build-up. But in the final third, he had a bit of a stinker. And not only wasteful, but he was being beaten. He was being beaten for strength, beaten for pace. He was just a little bit off. And do you think that it could be because of the missed penalty? Could it be a confidence issue? Because we have seen Lautaro when he can struggle for form. You look at, not last season and the season before, around the January-February period, he had fallen off a little bit.
And usually he does that every single season. He has 2 months where he has a bit of a dip. This season was the only season I can think of since he's been at Inter where he just kept going.
He's unbelievable. He's top scorer. Yes. I'm not saying he's going through a dip right now either.
I mean, no, but psychologically he must be going through a dip because what happened to him was, quite frankly, an embarrassing thing to happen to anyone, right?
Yeah.
If you are a striker and you've already got that reputation in Italy of being bad at penalties, everyone taking the piss, like all these memes on social media, they don't see these. They see these. Of course they see them.
Of course.
And then you go on the European stage and you're thinking to yourself, I have a chance right now to redeem myself, to make sure that this reputation remains an Italian reputation, not a global one.
Yeah.
And he missed it on the biggest stage in the only competition that Inter are in that they haven't basically won yet.
Yeah.
It was humiliating. So I wouldn't be surprised if psychologically that took a toll on him. And in fact, he's second guessing himself when he's finishing.
Yeah, and now I think it's been 3 matches since his last goal in Serie A. It doesn't sound like a lot, but by his standards this season he'd be disappointed. Can you imagine just missing that penalty? The entire stadium of your opponents goes nuts. The team behind the keeper starts screaming. You can feel the players rushing behind you, going to run to celebrate. You could feel your teammates all groan like, what an absolute nightmare, man.
And then what does he do? He stares at the penalty spot. Something weird happened there.
What the fuck?
What the hell? Anyone saw that?
Inter maintain a 14-point lead at the top. 3 more wins will secure them the title. As you said, they could win it against Milan. They are, in fact, something just died in the house. Cool. They are the only team that have confirmed Champions League football for next season. And do you know what that means?
What does that mean?
Carlos Augusto is officially an Inter player. That was a clause in his contract.
I have no idea.
If Inter get Champions League, then they have to redeem Carlos Augusto.
Welcome to Inter, Carlos.
Welcome to Inter, Carlos Augusto. Another season of either playing as a third centre back or, once every 5 games coming on for DiMarco. Bro is not a vice. He's not a vice. He is incredible.
He's very good.
That was Inzaghi's 100th win for Inter.
Already.
Literally.
That's
3
wild.
seasons.
That's wild.
Wow. Fuck, I don't know if it's Serie A. I don't know if it's all competitions. Probably all competitions, considering it's been 3 seasons.
Yeah. It must know all competitions.
All competitions,
sure.
definitely.
But that's very impressive, man. And when it comes to Inzaghi, it's almost like I knew he was a good coach at Lazio.
Absolutely.
I knew.
Absolutely.
We were very aware. We spoke very highly of him. However, I did not expect him to fill in the void of Conte so effortlessly. And not only is he filling the void of Conte, he came in with his new ideas, new patterns of play, and he tweaked a contest system that seemed to be already perfect. And he added his own spices to it, his own little touch, and all of a sudden, man, they're just flying.
They're better than they were.
And they're more fun to watch. Their fans are so happy. They've scored the most and conceded the fewest. Are you crazy?
So, this season they've been excellent. Last season, they made the Champions League final, which is great. Fantastic. Only lost 1-0 to the great Manchester City, a team that have been under the same management and the best manager in the world for God knows how fucking long now, right? With some of the best players in the world. They only lost 1-0 to them. But earlier on last season, shouts for Inzaghi to be sacked. Significant shouts, because they were fourth in Serie A.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to happen, right? I mean, is Pioli a bad manager?
No.
Pioli out was trending before he even... like the second they got us, right?
They got us.
Yeah, everyone, man. That always happens, I mean... Right now, I think we have to ask any Inter fan, they're Inzaghi in now.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking Inzaghi in. Barella, spectacular performance in this game. When Barella is like, there's no doubt he's one of the first names on the team sheet for Spalletti. Barella.
For sure.
He has to be.
And we saw him against Ecuador recently. It was incredible.
He's in great form. The way he can attack, defend, and just be everywhere in that midfield. That midfield is his. There's no debate about it. He's Inter's strongest midfielder by some fucking distance. And obviously, Di Marco, just a creative weapon down the left. The team does need to be built around him in the Euros. Find whatever position it is, which is left wing back, that he performs. Find is it with Bastonia, Cherby, and Darmian at the back? Okay, then that's how Italy should play. Whatever makes Di Marco comfortable, they should fucking do, man.
That's not a bad idea, man.
Not a bad idea at all. Empoli are back in relegation zone. They have to play, so in their last 8, they have Roma, Lazio, Atalanta, and Napoli.
Roma, Lazio, Atalanta, Napoli.
In their last 8, they have those. The others, they have some winnable ones, but they also have like Torino.
You can't count them out. The miracle man himself, as we always talk about him.
Maybe he was employed a bit too early.
Perhaps. But, however, that one season with Crotone, from match day 30
till
match day 38, undefeated.
Yes,
and they had difficult games. Difficult games. I put up a post about this. If you follow us on Instagram or TikTok,
follow us everywhere. Pay us. Follow us everywhere. Pay us. Please. Inter 14 points ahead, unless you want to add something.
No.
Okay, then don't breathe like that. Inter 14 points ahead, 79 points. That is crazy with 8 games to go. Madonna. Empoli 18th on 25, level on points with 17th place Frosinone, and just 1 point ahead of Sassuolo in 19th. You go, bro.
So I think Inter right now will focus on beating the points record, right? The all-time points record, because
they have nothing else left to play for.
Yeah.
They have nothing else to do.
They have nothing else to do, so might as well do that. So Fiorentina took on Milan at home, and they lost 2-1. The previous encounter actually was a 1-0 victory for Milan, if you remember. There was a Theo Hernandez penalty. And this time, Fiorentina lined up in a 4-2-3-1. It was Terracciano on goal. Dodo was back and playing on the right instead of Coyote. A little bit disappointing because Coyote has been so good, but good to see Dodo so fit and doing so well, because he had done his ACL.
Yeah.
Milenkovic and Martinez Quarta were at the back with Biraghi on the left. Mandragora and Duncan were the midfield double pivot with Icona and Kwame on the wings. Bellotti playing up front like a rabid dog, and Lucas Beltran playing behind him. Theo Hernandez was unavailable for this one for Milan, and the goal scorer in the reverse fixture. Magnan was in goal. Florenzi took Theo's spot at left back. Davide Calabria was at right back with Tomori and Chao as centre backs. Reinders and Benacer were the midfield double pivot, with Leao and Chuku on the wings and Loftus-Cheek playing behind Giroud. You know what happened to my voice, if anyone's wondering? I was imitating that Italian commentator. And I lost my bloody voice, can you believe it?
The Italian commentator.
What a goal by Riccardo Orsolini! The way he touched the ball! Kick high! Down with feet!
I don't think that commentator bless him. I don't think he's ever said something, and I was like, "Fuck, I didn't know that, man."
No, that's unfair. He hits you with a lot of good knowledge, I feel.
He's just a hype man. Like, bro, the main commentator, I don't know his name, but he tweeted you back recently. He's amazing.
Oh yeah, we use his what's his name? Don't worry,
we'll find it.
Patrick Kendrick, something like that.
Patrick Kendrick Lamar. But he the way he took that ball in it, he's kind of like a bit of a hype man. At the back.
Is Patrick Kendrick.
Patrick Kendrick, shout out Perry, baby.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yes, where were we anyway? So Milan took home all 3 points, but it was far from a smooth affair. Leao put it on a plate for Loftus-Cheek with a delicious back heel in the second half for the Englishman to tap home. Brother, that back heel, people are undermining it because Milinkovic slipped.
Why did Milinkovic slip? Because he was fucking bamboozled. He was not his back was facing Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so there's no way you would anticipate him to play that pass. Yeah. Okay, he was a bit wrong-footed as well.
It was a lovely goal, man. I thought that Leao was brilliant this game.
Absolutely.
And even if his output isn't great, it's all about Leao, man. Yeah. Honestly, when just looking at him, best player in the league, right? Eye test, best player in the league.
Yeah.
Duncan responded just 3 minutes later, of course, lapsing concentration for Milan usually happens after scoring a goal. He rifled the ball into the bottom corner after a lovely flick on by Beltran. I really like Beltran in this pocket, man.
Yeah.
Belotti playing up front and pressing and just doing all the running, and then Beltran acting as a trequartista, essentially flicking on these lovely balls and finding teammates. It's working out very well. Here's some water, bro.
Thank you, bro. I don't know what the hell is happening to you.
It's probably imitating the commentator, right? Here's some water, bro. Drink it, you will feel good.
Thank you, brother.
Yes. In the 53rd minute, Leao scored the winner. The second half was when everything happened. As Kendrick said, was it Kendrick? I'm not sure if it was him. What was it? Everything's going crazy in the second half. He said everyone's going bonkers in the second half, something like that. And it's true, yes. Leao got the winner by effortlessly rounding Terracciano, as we discussed in the intro, and tapping it in. Terracciano maybe could have committed a little bit more bravely, but it's always difficult when you have a freak of nature like Leao charging at you. Both teams were wasteful. It was far from a smooth or refined display. We often had moments with Leao where Giroud missing good chances. Belotti missed a one-on-one. Nicone missed another good opportunity as well. Barak at the end had a lovely, he did a lovely move to create some space for himself.
Yeah.
And I think he thought he was expecting a runner at the far post, and he just played the ball directly to the Milan defense. It was such a shame for Fiorentina. For us, great. Leao at a point had Chukwueze wide open to square it too, but he decided to shoot as well. It was roughly around the 30-minute mark. I feel like Chukwueze was so good this game and so willing to serve his teammates, and Leao didn't give him any of that energy back, man.
Yeah.
He didn't feed his bro.
He was quick to praise him after the game. After the game, Leao said, for me, the man was Chukwueze in this game. The growth that he showed was unbelievable, and I do think that to be honest, it has come to a point now where if I see Chukwueze starting in place of Pulisic, because Pulisic is so good and Chukwueze has been off to a bit of a clumsy start, perhaps, that I groan. I'm like, oh shit, like Chukwueze. Like, not because of Chukwueze per se, but because like fucking Pulisic is Captain fucking America. But in this game, and to be honest, in the past couple of games since he's been back from AFCON, Chukwueze looks significantly improved on the ball and linking up with his teammates.
Absolutely.
He looks a bit more calm and composed. You see him typically when he gets the ball, he starts running, trying to take on players, and it's a bit messy. But in this game, he was capable of just hanging on to the ball, slowing it down, playing the ball centrally, looking for a teammate, making a good run off the ball. He was more confident and like in the zone, I feel, in this game, not in his head.
Yes, he was brimming with confidence, man, and you could see it. It was clear to see. It was fantastic. I don't think he put a foot wrong.
It's true.
There was one really moment where he maybe should have done better, but he worked Terracciano and forced an incredible save out of him. I thought he was probably the man of the match if Leo hadn't been playing. Interesting to see that Pioli is using what they're calling the Abate system. How Abate has a system is beyond me as a Primavera manager. But yes, this is when you're out of possession and you press in a 4-4-2 kind of thing.
You're out of possession, you press in a 4. Okay.
Yeah. He used basically Reinders and Giroud to press, giving Leo more.
That's
freedom.
true. You often see Reinders pressing, eh?
So Reinders was often pressing near the corner flag, for example. You would often see him in that position. And Giroud, it's just crazy that you use 38, 39-year-old Giroud to do all this pressing. It just speaks volumes of his professionalism, his fitness, his determination, everything about him. Incredible. Like.
Have we addressed the fact that he's off to America?
Yes.
Confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. Yes, with Sandmax.
But yes, Giroud's off. Leave on a high, I guess. It's just very sad because he's one
hero.
Yes. Hero. But it is true that to become a modern football team that can compete with literally anyone, you need more mobile players, I think. Giroud is fantastic, take nothing away from him, but it is time for that next level.
There's absolutely no problem with just even improving slightly in that position and just thinking a bit more about the future. To me, I always say I believe that Giroud his profile is the most ideal and perfect for this Milan system. Honestly, if you could carve a figure that would be perfect for Milan's system, it would be Giroud. He has blessed us that season that Milan won the league in that game where he scored those 2 goals against Inter. He was the guy alongside Leao that won Milan the league. Take nothing away
his
from
goals
the 2 centre-backs.
Massive moments where Milan looked to be in serious trouble against Inter.
Was
it to create it again? A moment of magic.
Was it last season or the season before when won the league against Spezia that he scored that?
Incredible volley. Yes, against Spezia. I think it was the Scudetto win. No, last season.
I think it was last season. That goal was insane, man.
Remarkable.
38 he did that. Remarkable.
Yes, just a few things I want to mention. First of all, Bellotti. If you want to know what type of player Bellotti is, go to the 17th minute. It's incredible, man. The way he charges, he clears the ball off the line, and
literally, bro,
cleared the ball off the
line.
And no one was expecting him to do that. That's the thing. That was totally out of his own accord. And that's what I love about Bellotti. He takes the initiative. You know what I mean? Even when he was with Torino, and Torino would struggle to even leave their half, he would drop back. He would play pinging balls over the top to teammates. He's a guy who prioritizes the team. And trust me, dude. If I'm Spalletti, I'm taking him with me. I'm taking him with me. I'm not starting him.
What the fuck, bro?
But if I have a lead and I'm defending, I'm playing him up front. I'm bringing him on.
Bro, but there is a lack of talent up front for Italy. Raspadori, more like Raspa, get the fuck away from the Italian national team. Because he's not great at all, Raspadori. If you have to compare Raspadori to Bellotti, there's one fucking winner and it's quite clear cut. And then there's
Raspadori, take nothing away from him, is obviously more of a support striker.
Take nothing away from him.
He's more of a player who thrives with a big man next to him.
He's one of those players, bro. He'll be a youngster forever. You know what I mean? It's like, but his ceiling, okay.
How old is Raspadori nowadays? He must be
26, 25? If you can fact check that. Then there's like Scamacca and Retegui, you have to take them, you know? I don't know.
He's 24.
24, okay. Bro is younger than me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes, I think, as you're saying, there is a lack of talent essentially up front. I would honestly, he would take 4 strikers, 3-4.
I guess. 3-4.
I'm taking Scamacca. I don't care about his work rate. No one has the talent and the ability to strike the ball from long range and the technique for his size. Like no one can do what Scamacca does. I'm taking Scamacca.
Literally.
I'm taking Bellotti to press. I'm taking Immobile, man, as well. I'm taking Immobile. I think I'm taking Immobile simply because of the name, dude, to be honest with you, because you need to take someone who knows these high pressure moments. You know, granted with the Azzurri, he's always struggled. He's always had these problems. And fourth, wild card, I'm taking Lorenzo Lucca. I don't care. I'm taking him.
You're taking Retegui.
Sorry, you're right. So if I'm taking 4, then I'm dropping Immobile. I'm taking fucking Retegui.
Cool.
I totally forgot about Retegui.
It depends if you're counting like Chiesa or Solini and all those as midfielders or as forwards. But to be honest, I'm not mad about.
I'd take Lorenzo Luca over Immobile, I think. Immobile, you take him as literally a leader, as a dressing room figure, like, you know, the experienced mind.
Today, I take Immobile over Luca. Today, for this summer, in 2 years' time for the World Cup, Luca.
You know what I say? Because I'm sure right now people are disagreeing with me. Go home, sit down, flick on a Lazio game, and then flick on an Udinese game. Watch Immobile and watch Luca. Watch them properly, and then come and tell me who's better at the moment. It's miles better, miles more useful Luca at the moment than Immobile, man. Immobile has been a shadow of his former self. He had a moment this season where we thought, he's back, and then he was down again. Always one step behind.
And it's not like Immobile has a great track record for Italy in the past. That's going to make you say, okay, but at least he's a leader. At least he's this former talisman for the Italian national team. But unfortunately, for Italy, Immobile has been a burden. For Italy.
Yes.
He's been a burden. He's been shit for Italy.
It's true.
So it's not like you're going to take him because he's a hero of the Italian national team. No.
You take him because of his pedigree at club level. But
yes.
I would just invest in the future. Take Lorenzo Luca, man. I think that guy has a very bright future ahead of him. But yes, bro, when it comes to the Milan game, I prepared a few stats for you over here. I have to mention as well, both keepers were amazing. Taracciano was very good, and Mike Maignan had a few phenomenal saves. Phenomenal, was absolutely insane. Phenomenal. He was at his best in this game. His best performance for Milan in a while. Here are some stats about Rafael Leao versus Serie A wingers per 90 minutes, right? So it's tiers. If he's first, second, third, etc. So in assists, he's first.
Okay.
Crosses, he's first. Aerial percentage successes, first. Key passes, second. Touches in box, second. Attacking actions, second. And successful dribbles, third. Absolutely.
Third for successful dribbles?
Yes, I wonder who the others ahead are. I don't actually know that. Maybe Gvara's ahead of him there. But yes, he has a 175 million euro release clause, which is going to be very interesting. Judging by the whole Mbappe saga, what's going to happen over there. If Mbappe goes to Real Madrid, what happens with Vinicius Jr.? PSG are so the type to splash 175 million to take Leao from Milan, right?
Yeah.
We've seen them take Milan's best players before. I just hope that it's not the case, because it is truly spectacular to watch Leao play week in, week out for my favorite team personally. As a fan, I'm speaking.
Yes, absolutely. I think there are two players to me as a fan that are untouchable. That's that left-hand side, man. It's Theo and it's Leao. Anyone else, for the right price, you can take them. For the right price. It would be sad to see Fick go. It would be sad to see Ben Nasser go.
But that's the model, eh?
That's the model. Yes, if it's a markup and it makes sense business-wise, and you could pull a Tonali and bring in 70 million, and suddenly Milan have the most players in Serie A scoring off the bench, then it's money well spent. It's money well invested. Just please don't try that shit with Theo and Leao. Please. They're Milan.
I surely hope they stay. Pioli is heading towards being confirmed as Milan coach next season. Sky Sports have reported this. Scaroni has been speaking very highly of Pioli as well, saying, I like winners. I like people who win, and Pioli's a winner, and he's been on a great stretch now. Let's give it to Pioli. Ever since his players have become fully available, he hasn't put a foot wrong.
Exactly. Now, I don't want to change my opinion from 7 days ago to today.
Yeah.
If Milan were to change things up and bring in one of those 2-3 managers that we spoke about before, I would be excited for the new project and for the reaction from the players, and particularly the assertiveness of the manager to the players. However, again, as a Milan fan, I am in awe of Pioli. I'm head over heels for Pioli. I adore him. And then, just as a bit more of an analytical guy, from January onwards, from the new year, Milan have been great. Milan have been absolutely great.
Now,
look at their wins and losses since January.
You know what I think will confirm it, man? If Pioli's staying or not, that Inter game. I think if it's another humiliation against Inter, they don't redeem him. Because how can you compete against Inter for a league title if you haven't beaten them in so long, man? It's become bit of a joke. That's the one thing with Pioli that I'm sure that Milan are and the Milan hierarchy are very frustrated about. You know, the fact that not only does he lose to Inter,
the Derby della Madonnina,
he gets pegged by Inter, bro.
Yeah.
Pioli gets pegged, like gimp suit and everything.
Literally.
And when you look at the fact that, you know, some of these guys that Milan are being linked to, Thiago Motta, De Zerbi, very exciting prospects, not as decorated as Pioli. It's technically a step down.
Pioli has a Serie A.
Yes, that's it.
He has a Serie A.
And then there's Conte, obviously always lurking.
If Milan can sort out the injury crisis, the guaranteed injury crisis that they have every season, Milan could challenge for the Scudetto, they could challenge for the Coppa Italia, because the depth Milan have in their team is incredible. There are some signings that need to be made: a centre-back, a centre midfielder, a striker, and in my opinion a right-back, for example. Those are all positions that need to be...
And the left-back.
And the left-back, a vice. But at least the Real guy is staying on.
Yes. Forgot his name. Right?
Jimenez. He's staying on, so I like that. I don't mind. Similar profile to Theo. I mean, like, come on, he could learn a lot from
the
Theo.
problem then, and this is what I always wonder. And then, okay, let's say you redeem Jimenez, right? You make him the vice Theo. All good in theory. You play him every now and then. You have to rest. Boom, Theo ACL.
Shut up.
All of a sudden, you've got a teenager as your starting left back for 6 months. Like, you know? That's what I'm talking about, man.
Dance with the devil.
Touch wood, yes, and all that. Milan are in second, of course, with 65 points on an island right now.
Literally.
It's a good position for them to be in, but
Milan can afford now. Now this is a tricky thing. Sorry,
please,
because now Milan have Roma in the Europa League. And then they have Juve, and then I think they have Roma again, and then they have Inter. It's something like that. Let me just fact check.
That's
horrendous. Milan's.
That's horrendous, bro.
So now Milan play Lecce, and that's totally fucking fine, to be honest.
No, it's not totally fine that Milan play Lecce.
I mean,
Lecce,
bro, in comparison to what I just said, it's fine. Like,
but
so it's Lecce, Roma, Sassuolo, Roma, Inter, Juve.
Roma, Inter, Juve. That's dreadful.
And that's all in like a week, bro.
Roma and Inter, how many days apart?
Roma and Inter, so 4.
4 days apart. Goddamn. Okay.
Bro, what do you commit in?
You can't let Inter win the league.
You can't let... No.
You can't.
But you're going to throw away the opportunity to win a European
You have to figure it out, Pioli. This is your job. Figure it out. Milan have to win the Europa League. Milan have to beat Inter that game. Yes. That's it. Figure it out.
Pioli, it's up to you, baby boo.
Yeah. Fiorentina are in 10th.
What the hell?
Torino have jumped Fiorentina.
Ivan Juric,
Yeah, Ivan Juric. So Fiorentina 10th with 43 points.
Look at that. Race to the Europa League, brother. Look at that. 5th, 6th and 7th. So 5th Roma, which is probably Champions League nowadays. 6th Atalanta 50. Lazio 46. Napoli 45. Torino 44. Fiorentina 43. Monza 42. The best league in the world. Next game. Lazio 1, Juve 0. This is I've been excited to talk about.
Why? Because Rugani, De Sciglio, Locatelli and Keane all started.
Bro, like what the hell? That's like what, Genoa? Like interestingly, this was Lazio's first game under Tudor, and they got off to a flying start with a 1-0 victory over Juve for Lazio. That is absolutely fucking massive. But then yesterday in the Coppa Italia, Juve made quick work of Lazio.
Yeah.
They beat them 2-0, and it's almost like Allegri soaked in all that information, and the players soaked in all that information, and they used it in the Coppa.
Very good point.
And yeah,
there was no tape on them before.
Exactly. Lazio were coming off a 3-2 away win against Frosinone with their caretaker manager. Juve were coming off a 0-0 draw to Genoa, and the previous encounter was a 3-1 win for Juve. Tudor made his debut without Provedel, Lazzari, Rovella, Pellegrini, and Luis Alberto was not at 100% either. Allegri celebrated his 500th Serie A match with a 4-3-3 formation. Growth,
progress.
Without Vlahovic, who sat out a ban, Milik, Kostic, Sandra, and Alcaraz out injured, and welcome back Mattia De Sciglio, who returned after 11 months out.
Wow.
Who returned 11 months after knee surgery.
What the hell happened to his knee?
Fucking, it got eaten by a hyena.
The formation change for Juve was just a formation change. There was nothing, bro. Honestly, they still sat deep. They struggled to create more than before. I think it was woeful, to be honest.
Honestly, now with regards to Tudor's formation, he shook it up instantly. He came in, he's like, fuck your 4-3-3 every game. Fuck that. It is a 3-4-2-1. With a few interesting adjustments. Obviously, Mandas in goal because Provedel got absolutely fucked trying to score his second goal of the season. A back three of Gila, Ornesta, Romagnoli and Casale. Marisic was the right wing back and Zaccagni was the left wing back. Cataldi and Kamada were in the double pivot, with Anderson and Pedro flanking Tati Castellanos. A very offensive and a very unorthodox team.
He just popped them all in there, man.
It
Anderson,
confused
Kamada,
me.
Zaccagni, Pedro, Castellanos,
Because
all of you.
on all platforms, it says either a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3, and the players are just jumbled up. And I'm like, but who's the left wing back? Zaccagni is the left wing back. Who was Pedro the left winger, or was Kamada the left winger? And I was finding it really hard to figure it out. But that's it essentially, the way I said it. 4-3-3 for Juve, Szczesny in goal, backline of Danilo, Bremer, Rugani and De Sciglio, a midfield three of Miretti, Locatelli and Rabiot, and a front three of Cambiaso, Keane and Chiesa. Honestly, that team gives me an erectile dysfunction. Honestly, man. That team does not get me hard at all.
Cambiaso was like Allegri's trying to turn him to Gareth Bale.
Cambiaso, in my opinion, like starts for Italy right wing back.
He's good.
They're talking about Bellanova versus Bellanova, Coyote, and Di Lorenzo.
Yes.
Three fantastic options. Bellanova is fucking insane as well. We're always raving about Bellanova.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. Don't forget your point. But I have to tell you this. There was a kid with a sign at the Torino game. Raul senza freno la maglia del nostro treno. Basically, del nostro treno. Which means Raul without brakes, the shirt of our train. Basically, like if we want your shirt. Like, yeah, the Bellanova hype is real right now.
But Cambiaso, to me, could go to the very top because he's so technically gifted, he's so smart, he's so versatile. Left back, left wing back, right back. Where do you want him? He inverts a lot when he's on the right. He essentially goes into a central midfield role, and he's so young, bro.
Yeah,
he's incredible to me, man. I'm in awe of him. Lazio, instantly, one thing we could see that is consistent with their Sarri days is the press. The press that they were putting on Juve was really giving Juve trouble. And that's something we saw with Lazio before. By the 20th minute, Castellanos missed two great opportunities
massive chances
for Lazio. And obviously it was a big move by Tudor to instantly drop Immobile for Tati against Juve. He missed two great opportunities. He could have obviously done better, but it's good under new management in the first game to see the striker so involved and the ball getting to the striker. So he was getting into good positions. He was linking up with his teammates well, but still should have done better in those scenarios. Mandas pulled off a great save to deny Chiesa on the 41st minute, and then again to deny Cambiaso at the near post in the 51st. Mandas actually had a very good game in place for Providel, man.
Mandas had a good game, agreed. However, how many shots on target did he face? 3, I think. 3 shots on target.
These two were good saves, though.
They're
good challenging.
Saves. But my point here isn't to take anything away from Mandas. Very good. You're a young goalkeeper. You pulled off these saves when you had to, when you were called upon. However, what's with Juve not testing this guy? Get a feel him out. You know, they have a young goalkeeper in goal that you have no idea how good he is. Shoot, test him.
Literally.
They didn't test him at all, man.
But who's gonna shoot? Tell me that. Who's gonna shoot? Locatelli?
Rabiot can have a crack. Or a
Sure. Rabiot have a crack from distance. Immobile came on for Tati, and he looked very involved in the build-up. He was really linking up with the midfielders, and he was allowing the left winger and the right winger into more attacking positions, especially Felipe Anderson, finding himself in many positions up front. He set up Marusic well in the 73rd, but Bremer got a crucial block to deny him. Bremer may as well be one of the best centre-backs in the world, in my opinion, man. He's honestly I'm so glad he's overlooked by, worldwide. I'm so glad he's overlooked. Because that is a defender that a top Prem team would buy for 50 million euros. What
Absolutely.
a fucking... So clever, so strong, so athletic.
Was he
so
involved
good, yeah.
with the Brazilian national team in the last major tournament?
I believe so.
In the World Cup?
I believe so. Or was it fucking Marquinhos Santiago Silva,
I think,
bro?
yeah. I don't think he's made that international. The second he puts on that Brazil shirt and walks out, his price is going to rocket. People are going to realize that we're dealing with a freak of nature. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's not like he's unknown. He was the MVP defender in Serie A when he was still at Torino. So people know about him. If Juve don't qualify for the Champions League, for example, I would imagine that he'd have many a suitor.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, obviously, the moment came in the last minute of stoppage time. 3 minutes added, and this was 92.51. Lazio were still attacking, because Lazio were really looking for that victory. And Juve, think of a boxing fight, and Juve are the fighter with their back to the ropes. Guendouzi whipped in a great cross for Marusic, was given time and space, Guendouzi, to do that. He's a fucking De Sciglio backing off. I believe it was De Sciglio at least. Whipped in a great cross for Marusic to score a towering header at the far post for a dramatic winner in Tudor's debut for the club. I don't think you can rate this debut for Tudor anything less than a 10 after getting a victory in that manner.
Perfect game, Perfect game for Lazio. They didn't concede much, and they managed to get a winner at the death. I mean, what else could you ask for? And even the fact that he changed things up so drastically. Granted, he had an international break to do that, but coming in and changing everything. Not even Spalletti did that with the Italian national team. You know what I mean? Like, Spalletti went in and played the 3 at the back because it's more similar to Inter. He played it safe. This guy came in after Sarri and literally shook things up.
Yeah.
And it was effective. Well done.
Now, we've seen what Tudor can do with Verona, so on and so forth. We know he's a great fucking manager. But how much of this do you think was instant team reaction? That instant, like cocaine for the team. Something fresh, something new, something motivating.
I do think that's definitely a part of it, as it always is with a new manager. Things had gone stale with Sarri, and as the report said, no, Sarri asked who wants to be here, who wants me to stay, and no one said anything. Who wants me to leave, no one said anything. So it was clear that the players wanted a change. I would say it was a combination of both.
I think so. I did see a few Lazio blogs, Lazio podcasts, which I was listening to. A bit of disappointment that Klose wasn't hired, man. Now, I don't know if they're looking across Rome and seeing what Roma are doing with De Rossi, and the fact that after someone they respected so much with Mourinho, they're like, you respected Mourinho? Don't worry, we're going to give you a fucking club legend now. Lazio loved Sarri, and Sarri had been there 2-3 seasons, I believe. They got second last year. They've been improving. A lot of the fans seem to have wanted Miroslav Klose, bro.
I mean, there's always the romantic element. I mean, Klose was a very cool player, very prolific, very fun, iconic. You know, everyone loves Klose. If you don't like Klose, fuck you. Lotito didn't miss it. I mean, Lotito managed to hire a very promising and very solid, safe manager, but not only safe. Because safe could have been something boring. This is safe and exciting because Tudor is young. His trajectory has been upwards. Juve Primavera, Hellas Verona, Marseille, Lazio. You know, Marseille was it? I don't know.
Yes, Marseille.
The trajectory has been upwards. He's improving, and he manages to get the best out of certain players, man, with certain characteristics. You look at, for example, Simeone, like our patron Matthias clearly pointed out. Tati Castellani shares similar characteristics to Simeone, and Simeone had a breakout season that we had been calling Simeone one of the dead and Eddie, taking the piss out because of the amount of chances he misses and how inconsistent he is.
Lasagna, Simeone,
and Kalinic.
Yes,
the three strikers of Hellas Verona. Yes, but they managed to get a striker, a manager, who is very, very exciting. So yes, fuck Klose. Who cares about Klose right now? Literally. I mean, if it goes tits up, then you can get Klose.
But then instantly go play Juve again and lose 2-0. What's the beef over there?
So I think qualifying for European competition is more important at the moment than a trophy for Lazio. They are still in the running to get something to qualify for a European trophy, essentially. Allegri is, at the end of the day, a good manager. You know, he is someone who observes, who tweaks, and maybe the second game didn't go as well. Juve showed up; they were hungrier. There's actually an objective, a trophy in sight, and maybe that's what happened. To be honest, I didn't even watch the Coppa game, bro. How was it?
As in, I didn't think Lazio were bad. I thought Juve were good. I thought Chiesa in particular was very, very good for them. They were quite offensive, and they controlled the tempo quite a bit. Lazio had some bursts going forward, but not devastating enough to threaten Juve. Who Juve, when they want, bro, they're so solid defensively.
Of course. I'm sure Lazio will have it like this than the other way around.
Yeah.
A question from Matthias about Juve, by the way, one of our patrons. He said, with Juve's ongoing lack of form, name 2 players from their starting 11 that are cornerstones going forward and 2 players who they should dump. Also, who should coach them next season.
Okay. I think the 2 players to stay for them.
Build around.
To build around. I think they have more than 2. I think if you look at...
to choose 2.
But if you look at Vlahovic, Rabiot, Chiesa, Cambiaso, Bremer, Danilo... Those are 6 good players that should go nowhere for Juve. But I would say Bremer is one of them. And the other, I'd go Vlahovic. I think once Vlahovic has a manager that is going to play to his strengths and allow him to get in those positions, he's going to be fucking devastating, man. You?
I was thinking Vlahovic, to be honest, but then I don't know. It would be a shame under a new manager to see him go. You want to give him another chance. So I would say as well Bremer, Vlahovic, but I was leaning towards as well Bremer, Yildiz, man, for something fresh.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like you can cash
not proven enough.
Chiesa, Vlahovic, but it's so obvious that he's gonna be a superstar. This guy is the fucking he's everything for the Turkish national team going forward, man. You know what I mean? And he has done it already at Juve. He's only going to get better. You know? You invest in him. So I would say that if, for example, Chiesa or Vlahovic start demanding ridiculous wages, I wouldn't be that opposed if I were a Juve fan to letting them go and exploring something new. The thing is that if Allegri doesn't stay, and there's still a divide on this. During the Coppa Italia game yesterday, a certain section of the Juve fans were chanting, Allegri don't go. Allegri don't go. Like,
interesting.
Weird. There's a weird divide over there.
Very weird.
I would probably try to convince Yildiz to stay and tell him, listen, I'm gonna start you every game. I'm gonna build an entire fucking system based on you, man.
2 players to go. Interesting. I'm just gonna try to spice it up and I'm not gonna say the shit players, but players that they can improve on. I think a significant improvement can be done in the number 6 role. Locatelli.
I was gonna mention Locatelli.
I'll say Locatelli for that. Just to, again, I could easily say like fucking Alexandro or De Sciglio, you know, but that's no fun. Locatelli is the first one out.
Yeah. Locatelli, just like his position, he's midday.
Brilliant. Second one is tough, man. Who the fuck do I go for here?
I mean, if Rabiot asks for like 13 million euros a season to get rid of him.
Keep Rabiot, man. I'll keep Rabiot. I would say... fuck me, it's not easy, yeah?
Chiesa.
You know I'm there, man. You know I'm there, that's where my mind is going.
Yeah.
Reason being, now I know money isn't fucking a problem for Juve. But if he is taking up your star player spot, then it's a problem because he's barely fit. And his clashes with Allegri are a bit concerning in the sense that he doesn't listen to him. Now I know that fucking who would listen to Allegri, you know, but I think Chiesa.
Yeah.
I think Chiesa.
And if I'm
Locatelli, Chiesa.
The thing is, ideally, they hold on to their players, especially if they would suit the new manager's system. Who's the new manager going to be? I don't know. They don't know. Who would be interesting, for example, I think Zidane, who's been out of a job, who's played for Juve, would be an incredible candidate for them, right? Someone who's used to man management as well. Like, you get Zidane, you don't get rid of Chiesa and Vlahovic.
Exactly.
Because this guy has managed to balance the egos of Karim Benzema and Cristiano Ronaldo and all the Galacticos. You know,
For
Zidane
sure.
literally went there and said, Ronaldo, you're going to sit on the bench for this half. I'm not starting this game because we have a midweek game in the Champions League.
And Ronaldo's
he
like,
fucking
yes, I
stayed.
love you.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I love you.
Not many people can do that.
Uh-huh.
So I think Zidane would be a no-brainer. Now, the thing is, do they have the facilities for that big man? I'm not sure.
I mean, because you can't say, for example, Motta, because when you look at Juve's team, you could feel that team that could be an offensive unit. You could feel that team that is dangerous. And with Motta at the helm...
Can you imagine the team under Motta? Yeah.
That'd be insane. However, the problem is that where the Juve needs someone that has done it both domestically and both on the European stage, right? And so far, because he's still early days, he hasn't done any of them.
But you know what it is, man? And this is the thing with these managers. Right now, we're in a spot in the market where good managers or promising managers are available. It's a risk. It's a high risk. It's potentially also a high reward. Because you bring in Motta and he fucking explodes and he manages to keep it up and he takes his football to the next level doing it for you. Look what a coup you've got all of a sudden.
I think I'd say Motta, man.
Motta. That's, in fact, he's the one that they're mostly linked with.
Motta and obviously...
And De Zerbi's been linked as well.
The classic ones, Motta, De Zerbi.
So basically, if Allegri does go, Juve are going to get a massive makeover.
The worst thing they can do is go for
Roma.
Conte. The worst thing they could do is go for Conte because
3.0.
they will get another suffocating manager.
I don't know, but he'll take them where they need to go. That's always the case with Conte.
Yeah.
But brother, man, that's in the league domestically. 1 win in the last 9 games for Juventus, 7 points in the last 9 games. They have more. Yeah.
They risk falling out of the top 4.
Yeah.
They're on 59 points. Bologna are on 57. They actually face each other. Where is it? I'm not sure. But I believe they face each other later on in the season, Juve and Bologna. With Bologna at home. I can't find the note, but I had left it somewhere. One thing that I want to say is, do you sack Allegri now for a reaction for the last 8 games, or do you wait till the end of the season? Because this is why I'm asking this question, because some people go, you fucking crazy, why the hell would you sack him now? Because the De Rossi effect, the maybe Tudor effect, the Nicola effect. That you bring someone in and they get you that instant reaction, which could be sustainable for the last 8 games of the season. Would it be sustainable for the Coppa? Maybe not. Depends what caliber of coach you bring in, right? It's not crazy to say they should sack Allegri right now. It's not crazy.
It's not crazy because of this recent poor run. These 9 games. That's why it's not crazy. But it's also not crazy to say that the players are as much to blame as Allegri is. Now, okay, granted, when the players start performing in a certain way, it could be because of their relationship with the manager. Maybe a change could boost them. But I think this is Allegri's season to finish, and he fucking deserves it, man. Granted, you might not like his style of play, but I didn't see any Juventini complaining throughout the first half of the season until that Inter game, when they were 1 point behind Inter the entire time, 2 points behind Inter, whatever they were. They were right up there.
But when you're running this risk...
You're running this risk, I mean, at the end of the day...
1 win in 9. 1 win... And their tough games are coming.
Yes.
It's not like they had their tough games now in these 9 games.
So you bring
the bullshit games,
you
man.
take the Primavera coach up. No.
I don't know. No is
you
the
don't.
answer.
You don't. You stick with Allegri because he is on task, man. Allegri had 2 objectives this season. 2 tournaments, 2 competitions, right? There's the Coppa Italia. He's in the semi-final. He's just beaten Lazio 2-0 in the first leg. And then there's the Serie, which was competing with Inter at their level until they head-to-head. And then his players, this is what happened. His players stopped playing for him.
He fucked it. You said he had 2 competitions. 2 competitions. We're saying Juve can win the league because all they have is 2 competitions. Inter are killing themselves in the Champions League, playing Atletico Madrid on a Wednesday night in Spain. Yes. You know what I mean? He had the chance to take them to a certain level. The question is, do the board trust him to get Juve over the line marginally?
What was the objective starting the season for Juventus? As Allegri iterated many times.
When? He would have said Champions League. Because he's a fucking... Sorry, but he never says win the league ever.
Of course.
Allegri, ever. But they could have, bro, because they were in 2 competitions. They were in 2 competitions.
That's not enough.
They have a squad. They have a squad that can challenge.
2 of his midfielders disappeared. For no reason. Fagioli was a breakout star, and Paul Pogba. You know what I mean? There's a poof.
Fagioli wasn't going to be the decision maker.
Bro, trust me, he would have been fucking better than what they
You want to know who Juve have?
You know, last game, by the way, for Juve, the person with the most key passes, the only person who had more than 1 key pass that game was Iling Jr. off the bench. You're telling me Fagioli wouldn't have played a role? You know, he definitely would have. Please, who do they have left?
Fiorentina.
Good.
Torino away, that's the derby. Cagliari away.
Relegation team.
Lazio in the Coppa. Milan, Roma, Salernitana, Bologna away, Monza home. That penultimate game, Bologna-Juve, is going to be nice. It's going to be nice. I don't know. It is a good debate if they could get someone in. I'm never a fan of just like dropping a coach halfway through or towards the end. But it is entering a desperation stage. Like, how long do you wait to say, okay, this is an emergency? Because 9 games, 1 win, when finally the stakes are fucking high for Juve, is devastating.
Yeah, it is. It's not very good, is it? But I'm sure they're just hoping for this slump to kind of end. I mean, if 5th gets Champions League, they're pretty much safe. That's the thing, because it's 52 Roma, and then we're talking Juve 59. They're not exactly safe, but it would take a disaster for them to not get
like 1 win in 9 games.
Like 1 win in 9 games.
It's there.
You'd sack him, because I wouldn't. That's my.
I don't think
answer.
I would, because I'm a pussy, bro. Because if I was the owner of Juve, I'd be like, I can't fucking do it.
I bet
man.
Giuntoli is just frothing to sack him.
Hey man.
By the way, Giuntoli punched De Guzman in 2016.
We're going back. 2016. Welcome to Serie
yes.
Spotlight.
Hello, yes. Apparently, De Guzman was at Napoli at the time. He had just had a good season, scoring 7 goals and getting 6 assists. Then he stopped like he felt pain in his stomach, De Guzman, and he stopped performing well, saying that he went from being able to run 10 kilometers to only being able to run 6. He asked the doctor, the club doctor, what was up, and the club doctor told him, you have nothing. He said, can I get a second opinion? He said, no, that's against the rules over here.
Wow.
Wow.
You have to use
the club doctor only. They tried to sell him. They tried to force him out. They kept saying that he was basically trying to bullshit. They didn't believe him basically that he was injured or that something was wrong with him. In a disagreement when they were trying to offload him, Giuntoli punched him in the face. He went on loan to Carpi, De Guzman, and they found a hernia, an abdominal hernia. And 10 minutes into the examination, can you believe it? And this 2016 Napoli we're talking about with Higuain and Hamsik and all these guys.
Lavezzi.
I'm thinking of the coffee now.
Lavazza.
Whatever.
A bunch of those guys.
Yeah, crazy.
Let's move on from this game. Crazy because fucking if doctors can't tell you have a hernia, then like wow, get new doctors.
Yeah.
Juve, like we said, they're in third now on 59 points. Bologna, bro, have some breathing space in fourth because behind them are Roma on 52 points. They're 5 points ahead of Roma over there. Whilst Lazio are in 7th place on 46 points in a European position.
Stands, yes.
They have Napoli breathing down their necks, but they're mouth breathers at this point, 45 points. Napoli 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the last 6 games. 3 draws, 2 wins, 1 loss. In their last 3, 2 draws, 1 loss.
Yes, speaking of the mouth breathers who are Napoli, they hosted Atalanta in the most recent game for them, and they lost 3-0.
Madonna.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming personally. And if you watch the game, like you'd realize that this 3-0 is not really reflective of the performance that Napoli actually did put in, because they played their part. They actually created better chances than Atalanta, but were very wasteful.
For I spoil a talking point for
Please, spoil it.
But do you have anything to say about, so I don't spoil it, Calzona particularly, and the international break?
Not really, no.
Because bro couldn't work on the team during the international break because bro is
the
manager
of Finland or something.
Something like that, bro.
I'd forgotten about that. But did they have games? They must have had games, friendlies at least, right?
Definitely. He is, I don't know, Slovakia. The Slovakia boss.
He's a Slovakia.
So he bro was not working. Like he was, his mind was elsewhere. His players' minds were elsewhere. Then they're like, okay, we can't recoup all together now, like, you know.
De Laurentiis is hilarious, no? Just bringing a manager who can't be available in international break. But anyway, yes, the goals were scored by Alexei Miranchuk, Gianluca Scamacca, and Tune Koopmeiners. Who else, right? For Napoli, they played a 4-3-3 formation with Meret in goal, Di Lorenzo and Mario Rui on the flanks, with Rahmani and Juan Jesus at the back, Anguissa Lobotka and Hamad Traore were the midfield 3, with Politano on the right, Raspadori on the left, and Osimhen up front. For Gasperini's boys in red, it was a 3-4-1-2 formation with Carnesecchi in goal, Kolasinac, Hien and Scalvini at the back, Zappacosta on the left, Hatteber on the right, Ederson and Derun in the double pivot, with Pasalic playing behind Scamacca and Miranchuk.
Pasalic.
Now
he's back, man.
He's
Pasalic.
back, bro. He's proper back. Now Napoli, of course, were missing Kvaratskhelia through injury, and although they had the lion's share of possession, they lacked quality in the final third. And before kickoff, of course, Napoli took a knee to support their teammate Juan Jesus. And then from that position, they just took the doggy position and let Atalanta take turns on them, basically, because that was an absolutely pathetic showing by Napoli, you know, not taking their chances and just giving away free goals. Man.
Horrible
Juan Jesus
defensively.
lost the ball to Scamacca, who is at the moment probably deemed to be the laziest player in the league by Gasperini and Spalletti, who've been criticizing his work rate. He presses you and he gets the ball off you. Positive signs for Scamacca, by the way, to do that. And then the first goal, sorry, I'm going backwards. I'm a little bit scatterbrained today. Meret, man. just glued to his line. How many times does the ball have to pass in front of him for him to realize I have to claim this? This is my box. This is my territory.
You have a significant advantage as a goalkeeper. I'm sure Meret knows this. But your hands, bro, like, you could reach out and grab the ball. And if anyone touches you, you could go down and you're likely to win a free kick. Command the area. A great goalkeeper fucking commands his area. He could be a good shot stopper, but to be honest, bro, that ball went in. Right, it brushed his leg, rolling in. He did. There might as well have been no one over there.
The defenders were sus as fuck, like as well. They weren't good at all.
Mario Rui looked like your break and the like that metalhead's friends weren't at school, so he joined you to play football, and he's just like fixing his hair the entire time. It's in his face, like
his eyeliner's running down his face. Yeah, they didn't look good when it comes to their
defense.
Their focus, man. Their focus. The players' focus. They're totally distracted right now, man. Their head's not in the game, and it's a collective thing. You know, you look at Meret and Juan Jesus. Those aren't mistakes that happen often. Usually with Napoli, they hardly ever happened last season. Mistakes of this caliber. And then you look at Atalanta, the total opposite. You know, they waited for their chances. They didn't have many opportunities, but you look at the end. Coop Miners had a more difficult opportunity than Osimhen had in 3 of his opportunities, and he calmly slotted it past the goalkeeper. Composed, confident, just overflowing with confidence. Then you look at Osimhen, who seems to have his mind elsewhere already, man.
It's almost like he's on strike, Osimhen.
Really, I swear. A shadow of his former self, man, the way he's taking these chances. I mean, he still looks frustrated when he misses, but his approach to the chances, his body language,
he's probably frustrated because he has himself on Fanta. Like he doesn't give a fuck at the moment. That's what it seems like. It doesn't want. We see Osimhen entering those 50-50s normally, creating shit out of nothing. Any loose ball, he's there faster than everyone. Well, but it's really not the case at the moment, at least.
No,
he's fallen out completely, and I don't think Napoli. I think Napoli have brought this about. I think Osimhen, as much as he could have a temper, I think they let it get to this state. I think they've been mishandling Victor Osimhen.
They've been mishandling the entire team, and towards at the end of the game, I'm jumping all over my notes. I'm gonna leave something out for sure. The fans were chanting. So the players walked up to the Curva, right? Curva B of Napoli. And the players were chanting, I'm just going to read you the translation, "Fuck the Scudetto, we deserve more respect." Basically saying, you know, it's true you won us the Scudetto, but these performances, they have been disrespectful to us, dude. Us the fan, us the spectator. You have been nothing but spoiled children this season. Because you won the league, and now your heads have grown, Osimhen's the Premier League, and then the fighting with the manager of Kvaratskhelia and all that, and then
Zielinski signs with Inter.
Yeah, Zielinski signs with Inter halfway through the season. De Laurentiis is just sacking coaches and hiring every other gym teacher he finds in the street. Like, you know, it's true. The fans do deserve more.
Mario Rui had that whole court case with Amber Heard.
What? Sorry, I didn't get that one.
Looks like Johnny there. That was good. I thought it was good.
I know. I mean, now that you explained it, it's pretty good. Hien has landed. Hien was amazing. He worked on himself this international break while Napoli's manager was working on the Slovakian national team. He came out as a starter and he rocked it.
Hien was brilliant, man. Hien was really, really good.
You look at most of Osimhen's duels, he still wins them. But I think Hien and Scalvini roughed him up a little bit this game. They were very good on him.
Hien won 4 aerial duels, for example, to Osimhen's 3.
Osimhen did win 3 out of 9 aerial duels, was dominant, but then on the ground, Osimhen is victorious. 5 out of 9 ground duels won. But his passing was horrible as well, Osimhen, so wayward. And they did really... they thugged him out, man. These centre-backs, you know.
That's how you have to play against them, Osimhen.
You have to make yourself felt, you know.
You have to break his cheekbone.
That's a page straight out of... Skriniar's book of defending. But yeah, man, if you look at the XUG, for all our XUG admirers, I know there aren't many. Napoli had an XUG of 2.05 and Atalanta had an XUG of 0.76, which really puts things into perspective. Napoli were so wasteful, 61% ball possession as well. They had 20 attempts to Atalanta's 12. Both teams had 6 shots on target. You just look at the difference in composure, man. That's it. That was the big difference at the moment.
Honestly, man, huge difference in quality. Now you look at last season, you couldn't have asked for a team of more quality than Napoli. But honestly, man, it's like Atalanta were the champions in this game.
Yeah.
Just mature, hanging back. Gasperini, for a manager that's been there for ages, it's almost like they have a new manager every 2-3 seasons with the way he shakes up the style of the team by bringing in the new players, with that no bullshit approach. Sometimes he's really super offensive. Sometimes he's pragmatic. Sometimes he's really pressing. One day he's got fucking Duvan Zapata and Muriel up front. This season he's got Skamaka and Miranchuk up front. He just, the way that he shakes things up and keeps it fresh for the entirety of his stay at Atalanta has been super, super fucking impressive. His only fucking problem is whenever they get a superstar, he drives them out. That's the only issue.
I think it's more like whenever a player becomes a superstar. Like a high-level superstar.
Papu Gomez is
Papu
the
Gomez,
grade A example.
Yes, I think he might be a little bit difficult to work with personality-wise, but once you submit to Gasperini, there was a whole feud, no? Ex-players, some of them hate Gasperini.
Yes.
They said it was like they were doing military service working for him. And then there were players who replied to these players and said, listen, if you submit to Gasperini and you follow his instructions, he will get the best out of you.
Exactly.
The reason you didn't get the best out of yourself, or he didn't get the best out of you, was because you didn't submit to him. You forgot to submit to him, man.
Exactly. Like if he were Milan's manager, there's no way Leao would be anywhere in that team and try to get him to stop rapping and
Maybe. Yes, the league table, let me just pull that up on my phone because
he doesn't take screenshots of it.
I take screenshots of individual stats from SofaScore, but not the league table. That's just my style. Napoli are in 8th with 44 points, and yes, one more point I have to mention here is Calzona said, and I quote, right, look at this for words of wisdom by Calzona. The chances of going to the Champions League have shrunk, but we have to look ahead, improve, and try to win games.
Nice.
Incredible. Insightful. Yes, he probably wrote down the plane back from Slovakia.
He read it off a piece of fucking tissue.
Atalanta are in 6th with 50 points.
Bologna 3, Salernitana 0. Bologna were coming off a 1-0 away victory against Empoli. Salernitana were coming off a 1-0 home loss to Lecce because they suck at relegation 6-pointers. The previous encounter was a 2-1 away win for Bologna. Xerxes was back after his injury but started on the bench, while Sao Mauro and Beukema were on the treatment table. Salernitana made their debut under their 4th coach of this campaign, Colantuono, who had Fazio and Castanos out along with the outcast Boulaye Dia. 4-1-4-1 formation for Bologna, or the infamous 2-7-2 formation. Ravaglia in goal, and as we said, sometimes you let Ravaglia play because he's good. Back 4 of Posh, Lukumi, Calafiori and Lico Giannis. Freuler as the number 6, Salemakers on the left, Orsolini on the right, midfield 2 of Ferguson and Abisher, with Ostigard starting up front. 4-4-1-1 formation for Salernitana with Costil in goal, a backline of Pierozzi, Manolas, Pirola and Pellegrino, midfield 4 of Chuana, Basic, Maggiore and Bradaric, with Kandreva playing behind the Wank.
The Wank.
Simeon Wankwo.
Live update. Mandragora has scored.
Mandragora?
Yes.
Mandragora!
Mandragora, where'd go?
1-0 for Fiorentina. But back to Bologna 3, Salernitana 0. Orsolini opened the scoring in the 13th with a gorgeous tira al gira and our goal of the week. It was from literally the point of the corner of the 18-yard box, and that marked his 50th Serie A goal of the season. Like I said, 3-4-3 during the Euros wouldn't be a bad shout at all. Did you see the ball boy behind the net to this goal? Firstly, super jealous of his view, but he lost his mind. He put his hands behind his head. He started doing that. He's a Bologna fan. He must have fucking loved it, man.
That's gonna be us, bro, when Viola curls in a beauty against Atalanta.
Can you not say this shit? Because it's not gonna happen now, bro.
Brother,
I'm getting a Viola shirt, I think.
I've got this one. And it's got no name at the back,
Hey,
right?
can we though?
So, yes, I'm taking it up with me. We go to the store and we just ask them, can you
Nice.
I want to get Viola and Luvumba, bro. Or Viola and La Padula.
No, I'm getting Viola.
I
Let's
don't
do that.
give a fuck.
But bro, I told you I'm getting. You said Luvumba.
Luvumba, Madonna.
You said you're getting Luvumba. I said get Luvumba. I'm gonna get Viola, and now you're like,
because
you get so much as the bigger brother. As the bigger brother, I let you have a lot, bro.
You let me have a lot. You came into this world and took half of the shit that's owed to me.
That's bullshit,
That's
bro.
bullshit.
That's I'm 27 years old and I still let you choose everything first. I let you choose first. I got second and you also take second from me. It's
the dynamic,
bullshit,
bro.
Man.
Get Viola. I'll get Viola as well.
How about we arm wrestle? Okay? Winner gets Viola.
Maybe.
We
need a date though, because guy's been going to the gym every other day.
Relentlessly.
I know it doesn't show on him yet, but I swear he's been going.
In case that Orsolini goal wasn't enough, in come Sulemaka. Not just Salemakers, that was Sulemaka. Same angle, opposite side, knuckleball, which dipped and swerved into the far corner. There's no saving that. This was the rhyme I had. No Zirkzee, the wingers come out to play.
Wow.
Woo! Ndoye was put on a plate by Zirkzee after nifty footwork and a beautiful ball across the face of goal, but Dan failed to make contact. To kill the game off, Liko Janis slotted in off the post after a naughty 1-2 with Salemakers. Liko's pass was a no-look. Sally's return was a back heel.
They were just showing off.
It was amazing, bro.
Fun.
It was a very convincing victory for Bologna. I don't think there was any debate about that. But I have to mention that Salernitana missed a few key chances through Simi and Kandreva.
Yeah.
Who, to be honest, should have done better, but Ravaglia did well. They were both clean through on goal. Chuan almost pulled out a goal out of nowhere too. This is the thing. You give these guys the opportunities. You put them on a plate for Salernitana this season. You give them all the cards. Like, play whatever card you want. We're going to play you clean through on goal, and they can't do it. And I have to say, I was thinking about this last night, and I don't know if I agree with myself, but so instead I'll ask a question. That's a good way to do it. How shit are Salernitana? It gets interesting, I promise. How shit are Salernitana? Are Salernitana the shittest? Out of the last 3 seasons of relegated teams, that could have been worded way easier.
I know what you mean.
But there was
Crotone that one season
they were shit.
Yes.
There was last season. There was who Carnesecchi was with, Madonna.
Cremonese were horrible.
They were shit. Parma that one season were dog.
I think when it comes to just a terrible season from beginning to end, in every single regard. When it comes to what's happening on the pitch, what's happening off the pitch, I think Salernitana this season take the
They're shit.
They're the shittest, honestly. I love Salernitana. It pains
we
me
were gonna go watch Salernitana, but we're like, why? So watch them lose 1-0 to Lecce.
Absolutely.
It's no fun. So instead we're gonna go watch Cagliari get creamed by Atalanta.
Beautiful goal.
We still need to. I haven't forgotten about that argument. Just a few talking points. Bologna 8 wins out of the last 9, exactly the same as Juve. Their only loss was that marginal loss to Inter. We got message from Luca, our resident Bologna fan, who we love. Shout out Luca. Miss you, bro. But apparently the city is just full of belief. It's popping. It's everyone that wasn't into football for the past 5 years is back into football because Bologna are back. And that is how important football is to a community, bro. Have you been to Bologna?
I have. It's a lovely place.
Beautiful city,
young,
beautiful
vibrant.
stadium.
Good place for university, even if you
Beautiful
have the
women.
opportunity, or Erasmus, because the nightlife is amazing. We've been to Bologna together, bro.
And I almost got fucking physically assaulted by a woman for telling her
remember.
we're Sassuolo players.
Matthew with a drink in one hand and a cigarette in the other hand told the woman that he
It
plays
was
for
a
Sassuolo.
doob. It was a doobie. A beer in one hand, a doobie in the other, and then this girl came up to us asking us for a lighter, and she was like, "What you are doing in Bologna?" Or like, "We're gonna go watch the Sassuolo game." She's like, "No, you play for Sassuolo," and I'm like,
Matthew was like, yes.
And he just looks at their friends and goes like, "Dai!" Like calling them over to come meet us. And
The guys came
come up to us.
immediately.
They
They're
came
like,
immediately,
"No."
and they look at us and go, "You don't play for Sassuolo." And I'm like, "No, bro." And she puts her middle finger. She couldn't have put it closer to my face without hurting me, man. I think her middle. It was like this, like like a centimeter away from my face. How she wanted to kill me for making a joke, like.
You deserve it.
So,
That's why you started going to the gym.
no,
Okay.
it's to be eye candy. But that's the importance. That's the importance of football, man. How it can bring people together. How it could instill belief.
And Bologna hasn't had this belief since the 60s. Huh? They've won a Coppa Italia since then, because they lost the league in the 60s.
1964, I believe.
Something like
bro.
that.
Before our father was born, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think we should just jump to the next game, to be honest with you, bro.
Wait, not without our weekly baba to Salernitana.
Okay.
Baba. Salernitana are last on 14 points. They're now 10 points behind 19th place. So they're done. They're absolutely done. Bologna flying. 4th place, only 2 points behind Juve on 57 points. Like we said, 5 ahead of Roma in 5th.
Brilliant. Lecce hosted Roma and it ended 0-0, but it was probably the most action-packed 0-0 I've seen since the Milan Juventus Champions League final.
Bitch.
Falcone was in goal for Lecce in their 4-4-2 formation. This is the new Gotti system, 4-4-2, bro. Old school, I love it. I love it.
You know what Arsene Wenger says about the 4-4-2 way?
It's the...
Makes perfect sense. It's the most logical one. You have 60% of your players covering the middle of the pitch with the 2 strikers, 2 centre mids and 2 centre backs. And then you have 40% of the pitch being covered by your left midfielder and your left back and your right midfielder and your right back. So statistically
you cover the most ground.
Exactly.
With this formation. Yeah. Jandre, Pongracic, Baschirotto, Gallo. Is there any other formula? Yes, maybe Dorgu instead of Gallo. Wrong. Dorgu's on the wing. Alright? Dorgu is the left midfielder. Almqvist is the right midfielder with Blin and Ramadani in the middle. Of course, a lovely pairing over there, Blin and Ramadani. Kristovic was up front with Piccoli. Interesting, man. Isn't this what people have been calling for Lecce? He's playing the players who have been the best this season for Lecce.
Yes, fair enough.
That's it.
Fair enough.
And he's leaving just enough on the bench to affect the game, to grow into the game. He brought on
Udon, Banda, Sansone.
Yes, man. Think about that.
I think Udon should be starting though. Udon's the best player.
Yes, technically he's their best player, but for a 4-4-2, these guys give you the perfect amount of balance. Udon would be perfect in a 3-man midfield, along with these guys.
Or as a secondary striker, man. But I think he's just like us. He can't decide between Piccoli and Kristovic. Both of them will sacrifice our best player.
Zvilar was in goal for Roma, the ever-impressive Zvilar as of late, and Chilinho on the left with Karsdorp on the right, and Dikan Mancini as the centre-back. Partnership from the start, Bove, Paredes and Cristante as the midfield three, with Zalewski as the left winger, Baldanzi as the right winger, and Lukaku playing up front. It's
the week of
fullbacks. That should be the name of the episode.
Jesus, that's a good one.
Not so fullback. So yes, Lecce actually put on a show, man. Neither team could make the most of their opportunities, but it was definitely action-packed. Lecce have only ever beaten Roma twice, famously in 1986 to deny Roma a Scudetto, And then again in 2012. Both victories came in the month of April. So Mercury was in retrograde. As some people say, Freddie Mercury was drinking Gatorade. Yeah. The conditions were windy, and I believe this was just a concept throughout the match day, because the games all took place over 2 days, and it has been quite windy recently. And Roma looked totally discombobulated in the wind, especially Indica, who had a terrible first half. Lecce were giving Roma a lot of problems in the first half. There were 4 shots on target for Lecce and 1 for Roma. And in the second half, Indica was replaced by Huijsen, who came on and just looked like a 32-year-old centre-back in the prime of his career, with all the experience on his shoulders.
Great, man.
Huijsen gets the ball at the back. He lifts his head up. He looks around. He plays the ball around. He advances. He runs up. He's a good player.
He's a star,
He's
man.
a super player, Huijsen. What a talent you have.
Hey, man. Him and Cambiaso.
Him, Cambiaso, Yildiz, they've become a factory. Yeah, this
man.
next gen thing has really been working.
We're gonna be deep into our 30s, rewatching Juve dominance.
Yeah, probably. Dorgu missed a golden opportunity in the second half after Paredes had played a piss-poor pass which was intercepted by Lecce, and they smoothly transitioned with Sansone playing a crucial ball to Kristovic. Kristovic picked out Dorgu perfectly, hung onto it for the perfect amount. Kristovic had a really good game. Dorgu had to just slot it in, get it on target. Literally, it was pretty much an open goal, but he failed to hit the target, slotting it just wide. Lukaku missed a header right after that. Aouar missed a one-on-one in the 71st minute when... that meme of the Spanish guy where it gets a guy about to take a shot and it pauses and it's like, we live in a country. That's what it says, like something like that. Like you get, your boots are perfect, the ball is perfectly weighted.
Your shorts don't even brush your balls.
It's hilarious, that meme. And then it just 2 minutes of this guy talking about how perfect the conditions for footballers are, and then he just misses. It's incredible, that meme. It's hilarious.
It's excellent. Lukaku's shit.
I don't think Lukaku is shit at all. I don't think Lukaku is shit, no. I think Lukaku is clumsy, but not shit, no. No. The way he can hold the ball up, the way he can push any defender off him, the way... I think he's super deployable. I think he's the type of player that a top 3 team should have leading their line. Maybe not, but he's not shit. He's far from shit, brother. Come on. Come on.
Relax, because we are talking about Lukaku, right?
Yes.
We're talking about come on. It's
come on. Lukaku is not shit.
Lukaku hasn't had a good season in ages. He had a good start to life at Roma, but then he dipped tremendously, man. He has one thing: his strength. And his play with his back towards goal.
His play with his back towards goal is top tier. Elite tier.
Sure. Nice. You have a striker that can fucking back defenders up.
He's scored everywhere he's been, this guy. I mean, even as of late.
Let's talk about the past.
But it's not only about the past, bro. I mean, it's even the recent past,
Today, I don't think Lukaku should be anywhere among the top 7 teams in Serie A.
You don't think he should be anywhere among the top 7 teams? I disagree with that. I'm sorry. This is a guy who's this season...
I don't
27 appearances for Roma with 10 goals, decent.
I don't think he has the...
And this is... We just praised his like back towards goal play. So he's even getting numbers up. With Inter, 25 games, 10 goals in the second spell.
Don't tell me because he has 10 goals, because those 10 goals all came in the beginning of the season with him and the ball up front together. And then after that, he significantly dipped. And he's been
dipping, yes. I agree that he's been dipping. But the Lukaku we saw at Inter, who won them the league, was an elite striker.
3 seasons ago.
Elite 3 seasons ago. He's regressed gradually, I feel, every season.
He had the worst performance in World Cup history ever. He flopped in his return to Chelsea.
World Cup history, sorry, you're right.
He cheated. Inter took him back. He was mid with them. He was okay with them at best. And in the meantime, they were the only team that accepted him. The only team that didn't fucking laugh at him. And he was flirting with a move to Juve, which fell through. Inter didn't want him anymore.
No,
he ended up at Roma.
His personality is shit. Agreed.
This is all part of the Lukaku parcel.
No, but we're talking about him as a player.
As well, but obviously
As a man, yes. As a man, I mean, even the fact that he never even got back to Lautaro, what's this, middle school? No, I don't think that he's shit. And then not starting for a top 7 team is a stretch, bro, as well. Like, you're saying Lukaku won't start for any of these teams. Like, let's just go through the top 7
I'm
very
saying
quickly.
in an ideal world, he would be nowhere near the top 7 teams. If they don't have options, then he's gonna play.
Like, I bet you he would play every single game at Atalanta. I bet he'd play every single game at Lazio. At Bologna, he would probably play as well.
Well, okay, but that's because of a lack of current options. Yeah. It's not ideal at all.
Yeah. It depends on what you want out of your team. I don't think... I know that it's fun to poke fun of Lukaku. I enjoy it so much because he's...
No, I don't... I don't know where that's coming from in that sense. Like, sure, it might be fun to pick on players sometimes, but... No, I genuinely believe that Lukaku is not of the level anymore.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, what happens to him after the season will pretty much answer that.
After the season, bro is praising the Saudi league, saying it's one of the best leagues in the world. He's off, bro. He's taking Arabic private lessons. Fucking, he's finished. I would say top level football, Champions League, and all that. He'll never see it again after this season.
If he doesn't see Champions League again after this season, it's purely out of his own choice, because there are teams that participate in the Champions League every single season that could use a striker of the caliber of Romelu Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku is a prolific goal scorer, one of the strongest fucking strikers you can have. With his back towards goal, his link-up play is very good. What does he have is he's inconsistent, and in front of goal, he's a little bit clumsy.
He's not a
at
prolific
times.
goal scorer.
He has been a prolific goal scorer, bro.
In his career,
but even recently, he scored. This season, how many goals is he on? He's on 10 goals.
10.
You know, it's pretty decent when you think about the fact that this is a Roma side that spent most of the season playing under Jose Mourinho, flopping pretty much. He still managed to get 10 goals.
Remember when Beto got 10, but they all came with one stretch of good form? It's the same thing to me, bro. He doesn't impress me.
Yeah, there were moments this game, for example, against Lecce, where he literally pulled Pongracic back. I think it was him who released Awar at one point, 1-on-1. That could have been a match-winning moment, you know, for Lukaku.
No, with his back towards goal, he's good, and he has players around him who he could, if he gives that ball, Dybala and El Shaarawy and Pellegrini and these guys, who he could put them in a great position with his back towards goal. But with his fucking face towards goal, he's quite dreadful.
He can be, yes.
He
can be dreadful. That's
But anyway,
it.
let's move away.
Yeah, that's wild how bad we are for time. Yes, Dorgu also, fun fact, was part of that Lecce under-19s team that won the Scudetto last season. He was pivotal for them. Yes, I don't know if there's anything I want to work. Blin is kind of like the metronome in this Lecce system. Ramadani does the dirty work. And one thing I want to say is D'Aversa losing his head and assaulting a player, by the way, was probably the best thing to have happened to Lecce this season, because under Gotti they have been rejuvenated. Totally.
I think the best thing that happened to him this season was when Almqvist scored that goal and he cartwheeled into a golf swing.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool, man.
Dybala wears shin guards with pictures of himself celebrating on them.
Ken vibes, like.
Ken vibes. That's like having a selfie as your wallpaper.
Hey, man, if any of you have just a photo of yourselves, now love yourself, sure, all that, but come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. Kristovic is a warrior. The way he won the ball back at the end and played Banda through on goal, who was really stupid and tried to curl instead of playing a teammate through. Angelino hit the post with a free kick in the 94th minute. Udan clipped the crossbar as well. It was super action-packed, this game. And I think Lecce pretty much outperformed Roma. Granted, it could have gone any other way, but Lecce put on a show this game and actually shot 27 times against Roma.
Rub your eyes.
Rub your eyes, yeah. Nothing, and that was pretty much it. A very hard-fought match, which ended 0-0. Yeah. When it comes to the standings, every single time, Roma are in 5th with 52 points, while Lecce are in 13th with 29 points.
Torino 1, Monza 0 in a mid-table battle. Torino were coming off a 2-0 away win over Udinese, whilst Monza were coming off a 1-0 victory over Cagliari. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 1-1 draw. Only 1 point separated these teams coming into this match, and both were coming off victories. Gigi, Ilic and Shores were still out of action, while Bondo was suspended with D'Ambrosio, Caprari and Vignato also out for Monza. 4-1-4-1 formation 4. Oh god, I have the wrong lineup over here. I'll just pull up the correct one. Apologies for that.
Don't worry.
Torino, Monza. Yeah, this is what happens when you prep while a game is on.
While watching the Coppa Italia.
Literally. So, 3-4-1-2 formation for Torino, with Vanya and goal and a backline of Rickrod, Buongiorno and Tamez. Interesting enough, Juric, this is the second time he's working with Tamez, because Juric was at Verona when Tamez was there. Lazaro on the left, Bellanova on the right, double pivot of Linetti and Ricci, Vlasic just ahead of them, and Zapata and Okereke up front together. 5-4-1 formation for Monza, Di Gregorio in goal, and a backline of Birindelli, Izzo, Mari, Akpa Akpro and Carboni. Wow, very interesting. Colpani, Gagliardini, Pessina and Maldini were the midfield four, with Juric up front.
A good summary of this game is this was kind of a best of the rest kind of game. When you look at we've been saying it for a while, outside the top 7 right now, there are these two teams fighting for that mid-table spot, right? Matthias flicked it on. I opted to watch the Cagliari game. I think it was on while this one was on. Matthias flicked it on and he fell asleep in the first half. He knocked out. Yeah.
That's a formula. The only goal came in the 69th minute. Crazy. Where substitute Tony Sanabria scored from the spot after Pessina brought down Ricci off the ball while he was anticipating a cross. Now, last year, Tony scored home and away versus Monza, and he also scored again this season. In the 71st minute, Pessina got his second yellow card for his second foul on Ricci. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like a Zaniolo, Zaccagni kind of thing over there. I don't know who's fucking who's girl, but they were beefing. This time he was slower into a 50-50 and he clipped him on late. Commentator said, early shower for Pessina. Question, do you think they actually have a shower the second they're sent off? I don't think so.
No, of course not.
I think they watched the game.
They watched the game.
So why do we say it? Why do we say they're having an early shower if they're not having an early shower? Just
why do we tell kids that Santa Claus gives them presents when he doesn't?
Because kids have a wild imagination and you love to watch kids entertained.
So you lie to them?
Perhaps, yes. So that I was going to say something, but let's leave it like Daddy's exhausted. Like, I don't think there's too much to talk about in this game, but one thing I do want to mention is Di Gregorio versus Vanya Milinkovic-Savic, two of Serie A's finest. They were both fantastic, especially Di Gregorio. Di Gregorio is an unbelievable goalkeeper. He had 3 saves at full stretch, bro. He deserves to be up there with the best teams in the league, man.
And it's also, yes, Di Gregorio is absolutely splendid as a player. And one player as well that kind of continues to impress, but under the radar is Samuel Ricci.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Samuel Ricci's been improving, man, and under the radar.
He was linked to Milan in January when Ben Nasser was at AFCON. He was an option, but I think Torino wanted too much.
Yeah.
He's a good player, Ricci.
I think it's a good idea to get a player in that position from the league. I think that 6 role, if you buy domestically, it's always a safer shot.
Would he be an upgrade from Locatelli for Juve?
Yes, as a 6, yes, for sure. Because that's his natural role. It's what he does best. Locatelli is a kind of a mezzala, man, in reality. Well,
that's
I'm not
true.
even
That's
sure
true.
if it's
That's
mezzala,
true.
though, because mezzala is half winger.
Box to box kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know who'd be fucking good at Juve? You know, to keep it in the league? Remo Freuler. He'd be good.
Yeah.
He'd be very fucking good.
He would be very good for you.
Hopefully he goes nowhere there. when it comes to the standings now, actually, Torino have jumped Fiorentina and jumped Monza, who were just a point ahead of Torino coming into this game. Torino are now in 9th on 44 points. They could get Europe. Torino are genuinely in the race for Europe. They're only 2 points behind Lazio in 7th. Juric can do it.
Come on, Juric.
Come on, Juric.
Keep it up, we believe.
We're all rooting for you. I will get a Torino kit if they get Europe.
Absolutely.
In 11th, Monza on 42 points. Who would technically also get Europe. Come on, Monza.
Yeah.
But they probably won't.
They're at the beach mentally, I think, Monza.
Yeah, or at the racetrack.
Yeah, that's true. Cagliari 1, Verona 1 is a game that happened as well. A relegation 6-pointer that had draw written all over it, but Cagliari would be the happier of these two teams to actually get a point out of this, because it looked like it was slipping out of their grasp for
Slipping through my fingers all the time.
Beautiful. Scuffet was in goal for Cagliari, the man who debuted at 17 for Udinese in their 4-2-3-1 formation. Zappa, Mina, Dossena and Augello were at the back with Deola and Makumbu as the midfield double pivot. Nandes on the right, Luvumbo on the left, with Shomorodov and Lapadula playing up front. Well, Shomorodov playing behind Lapadula. For Hellas Verona, it was a 4-2-3-1 formation as well, with Montepo in goal, Cabal, Davidovic, Magnani and Chachua at the back, Serdar and Duda as a double pivot, with Mitrovic on the left, Noslin on the right, Folorunshaw playing behind Bonazzoli. So this is interesting to see Noslin and his versatility, quite frankly, because we're used to seeing him deployed as a 9. And this game, he went from scorer to provider, as he whipped in a perfect ball to Bonazzoli, who improvised beautifully with his kick, one of our goals of the week, to put it past an impressive Scuffet.
Yeah, Verona are good at picking these guys up, huh?
They really are. And then shortly after that, not shortly after actually, this was in the 31st minute, and then Suleiman actually scored the equalizer in the 74th minute. This is after Lazovic had scored, and it was cancelled out. That would have given Verona a 2-goal cushion and pretty much kicked Cagliari out of the game.
Yeah.
But Suleimana scored a lovely goal, a lovely shot with a great dip on it from outside the area. And it ended 1-1. There were quite a few interesting moments in this game, like Folorunshaw missing a 1-on-1 in the first half. I think it was one of those situations where he had too much time, man. Scuffet came out really well and made himself big and forced him to shoot into him. Zappa at one point miscontrolled the ball that would have given him a shot on goal, 1v1. And then Lazovic, of course, wasted a 2v1 moment shortly after scoring offside when he tried to chip Scuffet but did not manage. Both sides were wasteful, but I do think that Cagliari would be the happier out of the...
They went for it though.
Teams.
It's always like in these relegation 6-pointers, sometimes they don't go for it because they value the point. But they went for it, which was really, really good to see. Verona and Cagliari are two of the sides that are a bit more, let's say, equipped offensively to do that.
Yeah. Verona a little bit less so, I believe, but they've been just
got a decent
solid
record, especially in relegation 6-pointers. Verona tend to come out on top.
It's true. Bonazzoli, brother, I want to ask you about him. Bonazzoli nowadays is 26 years old. He has he's kind of one of those players, like you described Raspadori earlier as being a young player forever.
Yes.
Do you feel the same thing with Bonazzoli? Because I kind of do.
I see what you mean. Now, his play style is a bit more mature than Raspadori in that way. Because he's got a bit more size to him, he's got a bit more strength, he's a bit better with like his back towards goal and all that. But I do get what you mean, yes, for sure.
Raspadori is a much better footballer as well.
Yes.
I think it's the case simply because he struggled to find continuity. Man, he changed his team every single year.
Literally, bro.
Like Inter, Sampdoria, Inter again, Lanciano, Brescia, Spal, Padova, Torino, Salernitana, Hellas Verona. Like, relax.
And it's always for the struggling teams in Serie A. There would almost be more value for a player. Go the 2 seasons in B.
Go down. It's true.
Go the 2 seasons in B.
It's true, absolutely.
With Como or some shit, man.
Yeah.
Palermo. Go to Palermo. Palermo's cool.
Yeah, or Bari or something.
Yeah.
Suleimana, by the way, this was a goal against an ex because he was with Hellas Verona last season. Yeah, that's it. I think either team could have basically won this one. Cagliari would be happier, definitely.
Yeah.
Cagliari are in 16th with 27 points, while Verona are in 15th with 27 points as well.
Genoa won, Frosinone won. Genoa were coming off a 0-0 away draw to Juve. Frosinone coming off a home 2-3 loss to Lazio. The previous encounter was a victory for Frosinone, 2-1. Frosinone have Genoa's number. And keep in mind that Frosinone won Serie B last season and they beat Genoa to it.
Of course, managed by Fabio Grosso.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to our patron Andrew Batman, who was at the game.
Yep, Mr. Batman. Genoa were missing Caleb Ekoban, Martin and Maturo, whilst Frosinone were missing Goyono, Markitza and Harrui, who were still on the treatment table. When it comes to the formations, it was a 3-5-2 formation for Genoa with Martinez in goal, a backline of Vasquez, Bani and Vogliaccio, Spence on the left, Sabelli on the right, and the midfield trio of Frendrup, Badel and Messias with Regui and Goodmanson up front. 3-4-2-1 for Frosinone, Turati in goal, backline of Lirola, Romagnoli and Ocoli, Zortea on the right, Valerio on the left, and a midfield two of Brescianini and Berencea. Sule and Rainier played behind Walid Khedira. Genoa threatened in the opening stages as Vasquez's header following a Goodmanson corner hit the crossbar and then Turati denied Sabelli's follow-up. Vasquez already has 1 goal this season and he almost made it 2 there. In the 29th, Goodmanson opened the scoring from the spot, sending Turati the wrong way. He himself won the penalty after being brought down by Ebuehi in like a 1v1 scenario where he beat him for pace and Ebuehi committed to a sliding tackle. No mistake by Goodmanson. Good to see him scoring like you mentioned after missing his last penalty. Frosinone equalised after a sweet move in the 35th minute where Rainier finished off well after a great pullback by Zortea from the byline. Brilliant. A brilliant pass by Zortea, but a brilliant late run into the box by Rainier and a really good finish because there were a lot of players ahead of him. So to slot it past the keeper was very well done. And then the match witnessed very late drama with a stoppage time penalty awarded to Frosinone due to a Thorsby handball, only to be overturned after a VAR check due to too little distance between the header and the contact with the arm. That's always a bit of a controversial one, but when you look at it honestly, like it's
I'll never forget the ball on De Sciglio.
The ball on De Sciglio.
He just his hand was the ball into his hand and just won a penalty.
Literally.
I do agree
his
that
hand
there needs
was
to be
down
some
like
distance.
this.
Yes,
No?
absolutely. This was a good game, huh?
It was a good game. It's a massive point for Frosinone to take a point from mid-table Genoa as they continue to fight relegation. The match saw a few injuries. Both teams saw players sustain injuries, including Retegui and Malinovsky for Genoa.
Like flies they were dropping, bro.
Literally. Rainier is clutch, right? Yes. Rainier is clutch. Brazilian on loan from Real Madrid. His profile is a respectable one. A bit weird not to see him so consistently in the team, but when he's there, he gives you Ruben Loftus-Cheek vibes.
He never has, but I'll keep an eye out on that. To be honest with you, he just reminds me. I don't know if I can compare him to anyone, to be honest with you right now.
He's a bit unique in that sense.
Yeah. It's true though. He does have kind of a big frame about him.
With good close ball control.
Technical, it's true.
With the late run into the box as well. It's quite Ruben.
That's
quite
true.
Ruben.
That's a good point, bro.
Thank you, bro.
I'm gonna watch him and just think Ruben
Loftus-Cheek.
This was a chess match, bro, man. We had Frosinone's front three cutting the passing lanes to Badelli, who really struggled in the first half, not to meet the pace of the game or anything, but just simply to receive a pass when you have these three demons in Khedira, Rainer and Sule, just cutting every channel in front of you, man. And Frendrup, this game, didn't play football. He just stood next to Sule and didn't give him a second of space.
In fact, Sule wasn't too involved for that reason.
He took him out of the game. Frendrup is super. What a player. Zortea, exciting prospect, man. Another bloody assist for him. Atalanta, another team with an academy. I think what you said in 10 years' time, we'll be looking at that Juve dominance. Maybe it'll be Juve and Atalanta.
Maybe.
That will be dominating football at that.
Unless Camarda has something to say about that.
And then you have Vogliaccio, bro. who at one point slight tackled into Khedira, absolutely wiping him out. Then he gets up. Khedira's on the floor, like rolling around. It was a hard tackle. Volevich just goes and lifts him off the ground and puts him on his feet. It did go to VAR. The decision would have been terrible if the referee pointed to the spot after he had treated him like that. But it proved to be a clean tackle.
Wow.
So Volevich was pretty impressive. And he's Genoa through and through. I see him like the way he celebrates things.
He's an animal. What interested me was like the different styles of play. So they each lined up with a 3 at the back, a 3-5-2 against a 3-4-2-1. But with kind of like these different approaches to the game, but each of high intensity. So you have Genoa, who they have attacking threat all round. So when Malinovsky's on, we have Messias in midfield, who has been taking these cracks from distance that are really good. You have Goodmanson, who is a striker, but he's in the most free role ever in history of football. Retegui is always a threat as well. But then Frosinone, whilst they don't have so much attacking quality, they have that attacking, pressing flair where they absolutely bombard you.
Attacking cohesion.
Exactly. So both of these sides were just going at each other's throats. Stylistically, I found it a really, really enjoyable match, man. And that is, when it turns into like a boxing fight, that is when Frosinone can take something out of the game. You need to slow it down, and you need to control the tempo of the game against Frosinone. Because if you let them... If you smell blood against Frosinone and you match their kind of tempo and their pace to the game, then Frosinone are capable of catching you out on the break and getting a goal.
Point. And I think Gilardino agrees with you, because the way he lined up over here with Badel in the middle, that's simply to try to dominate the game, to slow down the tempo, because you have Malinovsky, you can easily pop Malinovsky in there. So yes, bro, that's a very good point. One more thing about this game from my end, Sabelli, bro. Sabelli is so underrated.
Yes, bro.
Sabelli could be in contention for a spot with the national team as well, the way he's been playing this season. I haven't seen, every time I've watched Genoa, he has been very impressive. Very impressive.
No, I agree. Sabelli is a very good player. To be honest, I didn't watch him that closely, so I can't tell you anything about this performance. But he is a very consistent figure in that team. I also like on the opposite side Spence.
Spence has been good
since he's come in. You want to do this? We just go around the entire Genoa team and call them good. We're doing really well.
Retegui, good.
Honestly, I really like the keeper Martinez as well. That's one thing I can.
And Vasquez is tough as shit.
Vasquez is tough as fuck, man.
He's another formidable character in this league.
The Mexican, he's a beast, man. Even for the national team, like he's a staple for them. Now, on the other hand, on the other side of the pitch, I really appreciate Zortea's industry and his technique for a right wing back. I think he brings something really good to this offensive team. He fits in to the system. And also, just a shout out to Berenchea, who has been levels above what we've seen from him in the past this season. He really brings it. And also, I do believe that Turati was better in this game. Turati, the reason I'm saying this is because of one instance in particular, when Vasquez hit the crossbar, and then he denied the follow-up. I believe it was Sabelli's follow-up, the header where he tipped it over the bar. What I noticed is how he didn't commit and ground himself for Vasquez's header. Like he waited till the last moment. Oh, am I gonna commit?
To be able to spring back up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so smart.
Good so he really gauged well. It was smart, and I think about how those are decisions that goalkeepers make that go under the radar because they don't catch our eye, because it's not a flashy save and this and that. But that would be an active decision, and I respect that. I saw that and I'm like, nice, Turati, that's better from you.
Respect, man.
Frosinone are in 17th on 25 points, level on points with 18th placed Empoli. Give me another relegation playoff, man. The last relegation playoff between Verona and Spezia was one of my favorite games of football ever. It had fucking World Cup 2010 quarter-finals between Uruguay and Ghana vibes, bro.
Of course,
Zola missing the penalty, Faroni clearing the ball off the line with his hand. Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Crazy.
Genoa in 12th on 35 points.
So Sassuolo and Udinese played each other, which means that they drew.
Classic.
They drew 1-1 this time. The reverse fixture, it was a 2-2, and before that they were all 0-0s. No, that's what it feels like though. I feel like Sassuolo and Udinese always draw.
Maybe not 0-0s because Sassuolo shied defensively, but better now.
If you remember the reverse fixture, this was a game which Udinese were leading 2-0 with Lucca and Pereira scoring, and then Payero got a red card and Berardi scored 2 penalties.
And we grilled Payero on the episode.
Yeah, we roasted them. So let's just quickly go through the lineups for Sassuolo. It was a 4-2-3-1 formation with Consigli in goal, Toljan, Ruan, Ferrari and Doig at the back, with Racic and Henrique as the midfield double pivot, Defrel on the right, Lauriante on the left, and Thorsvedt playing behind Pinamonti. For Udinese, it was a 3-4-1-1 formation. No, 3-5-1-1 formation. The Matt St. Matten. Okoye was in goal with Perez, Biol, and Ferreira at the back, Camara on the left, and Pereira on the right, with Samardzic, Wallace, and Lovric in the middle. Thuvan playing behind Lorenzo Lucca.
Who's off to the Euros in Jake's team.
Who's off to the Euros with me, bro. Because he is incredible. The way he holds up play, he's so smart, he's so slick. I like Lorenzo Lucca. Everyone knows I like Lorenzo Lucca at this point. They're getting sick of me. All the listeners are like, Jake and Lucca, for fuck's sake. Hashtag Jake Hart Lucca. Make it go viral. Lovric and Pinamonti missed good chances in the first half. Lucca's shot was cleared off the line by Ruan. Henrique had a gorgeous ball to play Defrel through. I think this is my assist of the week, brother. If we're going to start a segment like that. This and Leao in contention.
It was like Moses, bro.
What a ball.
You see they released a fucking series about Moses on Netflix, man. What the fuck?
They also released the Manchester City treble series. That was the first episode, bro. At one point, Guardiola's hilarious. At one point, they're all doing rondos, right? The City players. Piggy in the middle, for those of you who don't know what a rondo is. And Guardiola's a supporter and goes to the middle. He's like, it's too good, guys. It's too good. You're too good. You're amazing. This is amazing. And he's like holding his head. He's going mental. Like, it's perfect. You're too good, guys. I swear. You're too good. Like, really into it. Just losing his mind. Losing his mind.
What a compliment, man.
What a nerd. What a nerd.
Oh, he's an artist.
Yeah.
He's like Caravaggio, like just a mental artist.
Yeah, he's a perfectionist. You saw City played Arsenal and everyone watching was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't football. Like, what have they done to the game? Like all these vertical passes and all.
Because Arsenal parked the bus to try to stop them. It's the only way.
It was a good game though, to be honest. Pereira and Thuvan linked up well with a give and go and equalised immediately after Sassuolo had scored. Another lapse in concentration, another goal 3 minutes after another goal was scored.
Sorry, continue.
In the 80th minute, Thuvan hit the crossbar after a good free kick cross by Samardzic. And that pretty much summed up the game. I'd like to see more of Mulatiri and Volpato, bro, from Sassuolo, to be honest with you. I haven't seen much of them. And then it's not like fucking the players they have been doing great. You know, Pinamonti and Lauriente haven't really been productive, have they?
No, and it this is a real head scratcher for me. Why Pinamonti? He must be insane at training.
I guess
he must be insane at training.
He was also a pretty expensive player for them to buy, so I'm sure there's some pressure from the management to play that guy.
Definitely. But you've got players at your arsenal to utilize. Like, how doesn't Pinamonti come off in this game, for example? How don't you give them minutes? Mulattieri,
who was so promising in pre-season, Mulattieri.
Literally, bro, literally. You said Mulattieri and
Volpato, man.
And Volpato
was playing well for Roma.
What the hell?
Give him a run out.
I think he was the player I was most excited for in the Sassuolo team. Volpato. I thought he'd fit in well. I thought he'd start ahead of Thorsvedt, for example. But Thorsvedt has been really fucking good for Sassuolo in like the past 10 games. Before that, a bit like normal, average, much like the rest of Sassuolo's team in that sense.
True, man. Truman Show.
What a movie.
Yeah, I think that the draw is the perfectly deserved result when it comes to this game. Not a particularly exciting game of football, but yeah, the spoils were shared and they currently stand in... Drum roll, please. Oh, there's still 1-0 Fiorentina, by the way. Serie like league table, the game, Sassuolo. So Sassuolo are in 19th with 24 points and Udinese are in 14th with 28 points.
Let's cut this shit, man. Are Sassuolo getting relegated?
I don't know. I have no idea.
At this point, one win could make the entire fucking difference, man.
Let me see their fixtures coming up. So Sassuolo have got Salernitana, Milan, Lecce, Fiorentina, Inter, Genoa, Cagliari and Lazio. Balls in their court. Too early to tell, my brother. I don't think they'll get relegated, no.
I got a feeling that Sassuolo are going to be in Serie B next year. It's just more of a feeling than
you know
anything,
what, man?
Like...
I don't mind Sassuolo in Serie B. That's my controversial opinion over here. That will be they're the only team right now. Okay, them and Udinese are the only team right now without a vibe in Serie A.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. Bye.
The lack of fans and this and that.
Bring Como up. Bring Venezia up. Bring something cool. Bari, dude.
Bari, we need their stadium in Serie A.
Yes,
we
man.
need Bari stadium in Serie A.
It's so cool.
A van drives onto it every game, just like to drop the players off. Van drives onto the pitch.
Onto the pitch. No, it's pretty wicked.
Sick.
Like the one that used to transport Insigne, that one tournament in the Euros.
It's on the outside, it's like the Colosseum, bro. It's fucking
It's
sick.
It's cool. With 3 different stands, right? 3 sectors.
Let's go, bro. What the fuck? I've been
We'll
telling
go.
Key to go to Bari. Like,
We'll go.
We'll go to Bari.
Guys, keep an eye on our socials as we'll be posting content live from Sardinia. Thank you for watching. If you would like to support what we do over here, become a spothead for $3.99 a month. That's our Patreon. The link's in the bio. Remember to check the video out on YouTube. Drop a like, drop a comment, give us some love. Thank you very much. Have a blessed week.